Good night, good night, good night. How is everybody doing? Happy Father's Day. Oh my goodness, today is an awesome day. It's Father's Day. I know there are people who don't necessarily celebrate all of these days, but it's just a time that we take out of all that we're doing to say, Daddy, we love you. Some people, their fathers are alive. Some people, their fathers have passed on. But today is Father's Day, and we're saying Happy Father's Day to everyone who is on. That's a father. So that is really really wonderful, wonderful. All right. So let me just go ahead and begin to say good night to those who have joined. Let's see, all the people who have joined. Who are the people who have joined tonight? Oh, Lord, there are quite a few of you here. Loyal Daughter 66, good night. Good night, good night, good night. FX Trading, good night. Good night, FX Trading. Junie Rock, good night. Junie Rock Queen B, good night. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Bajan Boy, good night. Cecilia Miller, good night. Erwin Nurse, good night. Wonderful, wonderful. And I know there's quite a number of females who are on, but if there's a male in your household, please, on behalf of the Marcia Week Show, we want to say Happy Father's Day to you. We hope you're feeling the love. Heathcliff, good night. Yes, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I know some of you are out at dinner, and at some function, etc., which is great. It's a family time. Just in time, good evening. Marcia, my name, say good evening. And if there is a father in your life, happy Father's Day. Patrick Green, let me read what Patrick Green is saying. Can I see that, please? Good night, my people. It's good to be here after being absent for a while. Yes, as usual, I expect the show to be good as ever, especially on this special day. We have something special for you, Patrick, on this day, being Father's Day. Praise to all of them. Yes. And what we want you to do, guys, is to like and to share. Like and share. As you know, we are at the moment not on Facebook. So we're going to ask you to help us. In fact, I am live on Twitter. I'm live on Twitter. If you look for those in the US, can you check for me if you can find me? Look for it comes up as the week's show, right? So it comes up as week's show. Week's show. That's how it comes up on Twitter. All right, week's show. And I'm also live on Telegram. And on Telegram, it's the Marcia Week Show. The Marcia Week Show. On Twitter, it's weeks, or on X. On X. All right. So we're on X, and we are on Telegram, and we are on YouTube. We're not waiting. So I need people to check for me to make sure that it's working. We're trying something new. We're spreading our wings, because let me tell you, this 246 power, it's awesome, right? Nothing is going to stop it. Nothing is going to stop it. Lucinda Aline, how are you doing, Lucinda girl? Hey, Rameem, good evening, Rameem. Rameem says, greetings, loyal, patriotic opposition fathers and to father figures. We respect, love, and appreciate you. The children need your strength, your provision, and your protection. Keep being strict guardians and firm craftsmen. Wonderful. James Harding. Tonight we honor those men in our lives. We honor the men in our lives. The men are important. Don't let society try to tell us that they're not important. If we want a strong society, then we have to have a strong family. All right? And the family involves the fathers. Yes, without the father, you can't have no family. You need mother and father. Yeah. Rameem says, kindly like and share as you log on. Yes. Yes. Definitely like and share. We must not bow to the forces trying to block vital information and education of our countrymen and allies. Operation Rescue and Restore Bin. Opposition, fall in line, because it's all we're talking about is victory. Sir Alfred Benjamin, all the way from Brooklyn. And if all goes well, we might see me in Brooklyn. I've been having talks with people about that. We'll see. Cynthia Ford, good evening. Victorious Queen. Sandra Charles saying Happy Father's Day. Oh, wow. Diana Husbands, wonderful, wonderful. I love how we celebrate the fathers on here. Oh, wonderful. Marlene Brathwaite, Mystic Angel, Alwyn Bob, Happy Father's Day. Lemuel Tull, Happy Father's Day. Anthony Oliver. I'm thinking these are male names, so I'm saying Happy Father's Day to them. Kali B, Happy Father's Day. I know that's a male. And if you don't have children of your own, you probably have, nieces and nephews, and the little boy down the road, the people at church, right? And Captain is saying a very happy Father's Day. Listen, we want this show to be so beautiful tonight. I have some children that are coming on very soon. Naomi Matthews, what am I saying, Matthews? Naomi Matthias and Naraya Matthias and Caleb King. And they're all about 10, 11 years old. And they're going to come on to talk about the importance of a father in their lives. I think this is going to be awesome. And then we have lots of daddies coming on tonight, led, of course, by Mr. Franklin will be on, and they're going to be talking to us all. So this is very, very beautiful. Teroni, good evening. Good evening. Happy Father's Day to you, Teroni. And where's your mom? You all say I'm not calling her name, but I don't see her yet. Have I seen Judy yet? They're gonna kill me. Clyde Yvonne, Jack Murphy, Sanchez, Judy Jilks. I think that's her. Good evening. You are here to stay. Hadn't for you, we will not know what is going on in Barbados. You are here to stay and not going anywhere. We love you. I think that's Judy. Judy makes me laugh. Listen, you don't want to see Judy dance to the Mia song. Oh Lord, help us. Nigel Carrington, good evening. Beverly Prescott, how are you? Nat Grant, happy Father's Day to the men in your life. Even if they don't have any children yet, they're coming up. We need children in the world. What are you talking about? We need children. We need children. They said that the population growth we're not growing. We don't have enough people. We need daddies. What are you talking about? Joy and Faith. Everton Waith. Good evening, Everton. How are you? Guys, are we liking and sharing? You've got to help me. Remember, you are part of this solution as well. You are going to help me. You're going to help me. And I need you to be sharing. Are you sharing? Are you liking? Are you sharing? Are you liking? I can't check right now. So I need to know. Remember, we're not on Facebook. So I need your help. You're sharing in every WhatsApp group that you have, in Telegram groups, wherever you are. We are on X. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter. And you look for Week's Show. Those of you who are on X, tell me if you see me on. If you see me on X, let me know, please. Oh yeah, I'm on something. Oh, these are all the comments are from YouTube. I'm not seeing any comments from Twitter, from X or anywhere else. So I'm hoping it's working. Sandra Haywood. Okay, Rachel Thornhill. Oh my God. Okay, guys, great. Are we sharing? You got to share, because I know a lot of people have gone out tonight. It's Father's Day, so they're gone out to have fun with their families, which they should, which is why we did not have any roadside parliament planned tonight, because we wanted to make sure that we honor our fathers. You need strong fathers so there to be a strong nation. If we don't have strong families, we cannot have a strong nation. I don't care what they're all pushing. They could push whatever they want. If you don't have strong families, Yes, male and female having children. It's not, society can't work. It's not going to work. Okay. Hey, Marion Griffith, Pedro Griffith, happy Father's Day. We're celebrating all the men tonight. All right. So, folks, let's go into our national anthem before we have some lovely children that are going to come on and they're going to talk to us about what it means to have, why is it so important to have a father in your life, okay? And so you want to hear the children and you want to make sure everybody hear the children. So I'm going to ask you to make sure that you like and share. So let's go right into our national anthem this evening. Let's go into our anthem and everybody liking and sharing. Everybody liking and sharing. Please do. Please do. Yes. We repping the blue, yellow, and black. It's a blue, yellow, and black. And when we have strong fathers, we will have a strong nation. We don't care the kind of narratives that are being pushed, whether by this government, by whichever social entities. We need strong families in Barbados in order to have a strong Barbados. And those families consist of fathers. Okay? So we want to make sure we give them their flowers tonight. Fathers, take a bow. Strong in BIM. Yes. Oh, wonderful. Now, while I wait on my guests to come on in, to come in. All right. Okay, so while we wait on our guests to come in, I just want to I have been advertising something for a little bit and we have not touched on it. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes just to talk about this at the top of the show, because I just like to make sure whatever I advertise that I do it. And this is the third time. So I said, let me make sure that I do it. And this has to do with Cricket World Cup. Now, can anybody there in the comment section tell me how much money was spent on the refurbishing of Kensington Oval? Can anybody tell me how much money? Let me see the bright ones there. While you're doing that, Calibi is telling me that Twitter is working. X working. It's working on X. Yes, Calibi, thank you. And nobody knows that we're there, so I don't think we have anybody watching on X. But we are on X, guys. We are on X. We are on X. So please, Calibi, you can share that link as well. Those of you, Rachel says she found me on Twitter. Okay, Galbiz says you only found Dave Weeks. Look for the Marcia Week show, Galbiz, on Telegram. Search for the Marcia Week show because it's showing up here that it is. We're seeing it where I'm live on Telegram. So look for the Marcia Week show on Telegram. Okay, so they found me on Twitter. I love that. Yes, yeah, yes. Okay, so they said it was $50 million, which is 25,000 US dollars, right? So hold that figure in your head, right? And I'm going to show you a video of the cricket stadium that was established, was created, was built is the word I'm looking for, in the USA, in Nassau County. Okay, in New York. You're going to see it. And I want you to guess how much this stadium was built, okay? So this was, Sandra, this one was built. This one was built from the ground up. Okay, this is built from the ground up, and I'm being told that we are live on Telegram. Yes, we are live on Telegram, but only 2 persons are on. Dave and Galbiz are on it on Telegram, right? Okay, so 25 million US was spent in Barbados to refurbish. Listen, refurbish, right? Our Kensington Oval that we already had and spent a lot of money and built. Okay, now for here in the US, they built this from the ground up. All right, let's just play the video, just a couple minutes.
The Cricket World Cup is coming here to New York. The first game's just weeks away from being played on Long Island.
CBS 2's Jennifer Bisram takes us inside the new cricket stadium unveiled today, where some of the biggest men's matchups will be played.
The first ball was bowled at the new cricket stadium on Long Island Wednesday.
There are different types of grips.
Cricket legends gave some lessons on the game that's played across the globe.
That's how a right-hander batter holds the bat.
For the first time, the U.S. will be hosting Cricket World Cup games. 8 of the men's T20 World Cup matches will be held in Nassau County.
Can you all see, or is it sticking? Is it just mine that's sticking, or can you all see the video?
In the Caribbean and in the US is special to us as Caribbean people because we are a small nation and we don't get the opportunity to host this type of tournament often.
Monak Patel, a cricket player for the U.S., will take part in the historic tournament.
Will definitely grow cricket in U.S.
Star.
Okay, so our Wi-Fi is the issue, and so it is sticking. So let's just remove it. But just so you know, somebody is buffering a bit. Yes, thank you so much. Listen, Calibi, you are. Calibi says no, not 50 million, not 50 million US at all. Not 50, you would think so. You would think because we refurbished for 25 million US. That cricket stadium from the ground up, brand spanking new. Somebody said it here. Sean Yard, come to the front of the class. 30 million US dollars. Did you hear what I just said? That beautiful cricket stadium that was built from the ground up, 30 million US dollars. The one in Barbados that was refurbished, not built from the ground, 25 million US dollars, they said. Just hold that in your head, okay? Just put that there. And I know you're going to say, oh, well, things might be cheaper there, etc. But try to imagine that you are going from foundation all the way up to all the lights. And you know, America, they're not going to put any cheap lights in that cricket stadium. You know that, right? You're going to have, I mean, that newscast calls it the state of the art. So you know America when they do things. All right, because we have to get a lot of those kinds of fittings and so on from America. So you know that they're going to be tops. And to build it from foundation to the top. Yeah? 30 million US dollars. And we were doing refurbishing. And it's $25 million. I don't understand. As Mr. Glenn Murray says, big spender. Yeah. Sean said he researched it, right, Sean? I'm telling the truth, right? Yeah. Very interesting. We're going to come back to that, but I wanted to make sure, because I've been advertising that, so I just wanted to make sure that you are familiar with that, and just mull that over. We're going back to that, right? All right, so let's get cracking, and we're going to start. I'm excited about the show. I don't know about you all. I'm excited. Are you sharing? And by the way, those who are just joining, we are on Telegram. We are live on Telegram, and we are live on X. We're live on YouTube. All right, and hopefully one of these days we can go live on some more platforms. We want to go live on as many platforms as possible, just in case they have any ideas, right? Because we don't cool out. We're gonna make this happen. Somebody said that Kensington still has antiquated scoreboard after spending 50 million Barbados. Yes, wow, Edwin, hold those thoughts. We're going to get back into that. Let me see who is in the room now. Okay, so I'm seeing Victor Lewis. Okay, just give me a second here, and just what I see. Give me a second. We're going to. Okay. All right, so let me go to the children now. Okay, so they're settled. Are you all settled? All right. So let's welcome Naomi Matthias and her sister Naraya Matthias. Good evening. How are you?
We're good.
Okay, wonderful. I think this might be the first time we've had children on the Marcia Week show. And we have Caleb King. Hi, Caleb. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, it's a pleasure having you all here. And, I knew I could call on these children because I help them with common entrance English. And when we have our discussions, they are always, it's heated discussions, and they always have something to say. So I thought that I would ask their parents, and we have gotten permission from their parents for them to be on the show with us tonight. We also have in the waiting room, in our green room, Cami Holder is there, Victor Lewis is there, and Paul Messiah is there, and I see the General, Castle Franklin is on, and I know you would want to be on with these children. So just hang on, and we're going to bring, he's settling in. I'm going to bring in the General very soon. Marcia says, welcome, is telling you welcome, children, to the Marcia Weeks show family. All right. Yes, that's not me. That's somebody else. All right. Now, let me go to Naomi and Naraya. I don't know if you could tell, but they're twins. And how old are you girls?
11.
11?
Yes, please.
When did you all
Same as
turn
that.
11?
Last year. Last year.
Oh my goodness. All this time I thought you were all still 10. Oh my goodness. Caleb King, how old are you?
11.
11. They're all 11. You see, I thinking they're 10. They're growing up. So, Naomi and Naraya, can you tell us where do you go to school at the moment?
We go to school.
Where?
We go to school at the People's Cathedral.
People's Cathedral. The People's Cathedral is where they go to school. And Caleb King, where do you go to school, sir?
I go to school at the best primary school in the island, and it's called Charles F. Broom.
Oh my God! Did you all hear that? Did you hear that, Naomi? He said he goes to school at the best primary school in the entire Barbados.
That's not the best school. That's not. Does your school have swimming?
Mr. Franklin, you hearing this? Mr. Franklin?
Yeah. He's done the common entrance yet?
Yeah. I know what you're trying to put in his head, you know. You're trying to put Combermere in his head, right? He sounds like he's a Combermerian. Well, Caleb says he goes to the best school in the best primary school. And somebody said, whoop, 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 Charles F. Broom, somebody says. Oh, my Lordy. And Naomi and Naraya, Mr. Franklin, they're saying, no, it's not. And ask him, do you have, wait, so Naomi and Naraya, you have swimming pool at your school?
No, but we actually go to swimming. We go at the aquatic center.
Oh, but but you don't have it at your school, but you get to go to the aquatic center. But I'm sure that Caleb is going to say that he has other things at his school, right, Caleb? Caleb, why is Charles F. Broom the best school in the entire Barbados, the best primary school?
We have good academics and a good physical academy.
Oh, wow. Yes, I know you run. I know you're a sprinter, and you play cricket and you play football. You're a big baller. I know that. So
Cricket?
You don't play cricket?
No, please.
Wait, I'm sorry. Sorry. I thought it was cricket too. So
I play basketball too.
Oh, that's what I thought it was. Okay. So it is you play basketball and you play football and you're a sprinter, right?
And road tennis.
And road tennis. Wow, he's a very active little boy. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Now let's get to the matter at hand. Today was Father's Day, and you guys had a good time today. Naomi and Naraya, you had a good time today?
Yes, please.
Okay, they answered together like twins. Okay, so you had a good time today, and Caleb, you had a lovely time too.
Yes, please.
Okay.
With lots of food.
You had lots of food.
Yes, please.
Caleb, you love your belly too much, but Caleb, but the day wasn't about you. The day was about fathers.
Yes, please.
Right, and I want to find out from you, what would you say to our audience is, or do you think that the question is, do you think that fathers are important in a boy's life?
Yes, but
yes, go ahead. And why?
I mean, he helps toughen up the boy and help him with manhood. To know that he's the next person in line to become the man of the house. So it's about the discipline.
Oh, wow. So he toughens up the boy and let the boy know that, teach him about manhood and let him know he's next in line to take over the family. And, wow. I love that. Wow. That's a good one. That's a good one, Caleb. And you said discipline too. So you like the discipline part. So what about when daddy decide to start to really discipline? Because you know, in most household, daddy is the one that do the discipline. Is that a good thing for you? Yes. Okay. Let me go to yes. You were saying something, Kayla?
No, please.
Okay. So Naraya and Naomi, let me ask you the same thing. How important is a father in a girl's life?
I think very important.
Are we hearing her? Are you guys hearing her?
I said it, I think a father is very important in a girl's life.
And why is that?
Because, so basically, for a father, he looks after the child, he protects her no matter what, and he makes sure that she's okay. And especially when it comes to a lot of stuff dealing with school, the father's there for her. And when the mother is gone, most fathers respond by doing a lot of other stuff, but some of them genuinely care about their child. So when their child like turns like in their teenage years, that's when the father is mostly in their life, because they're going into adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of teenagers tend to go all over the place, so that's why the father is always there to help them through rough times.
Wow. Oh my word. Daddies, are you hearing this? I soon bring in the fathers here that beaming in the background there. So Naraya, is there anything else that you want to add?
They're important because they're supposed to be there for you. They're supposed to be reaching out. For example, if they're abroad, they're the ones supposed to be reaching out for you. They're most needed in the teenage years. That's when it gets most emotional, and uh, they're always there for you.
Awesome, awesome. I love how you guys are. You both of you zeroed in on the teenage years, and that you need the fathers in the teenage years. Caleb, would you say you need the fathers in the teenage years more than you need the fathers now that you're a preteen or a child?
Well,
Yeah.
to be honest, compared to the teenage years, yeah, they're kind of in the shadows. But when you're a child, you get prepared for a teenager, and then teenagers go on to manhood. So then, after all the learning from preteen, we can get more knowledge from other stuff that we do to go into to teenage years.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's why you need them. Okay, I understand. That makes sense. Makes sense. So let me ask you. I'm going to bring the fathers in. Just let me bring them in and introduce them, and then I want you to tell these fathers, what do you think happens to children that do not have their fathers in their lives? Okay, think about that question. You might know somebody in your class, at your church, and they don't have their fathers in their life. Okay, the father in their life. What are some of the issues that they have? What are some of the problems that they have? Okay, so think about that question, and I'm going to bring the fathers in the studio. Okay, you guys are doing an awesome job. So let me welcome Mr. Paul Messiah. Good night, Paul.
Blessed good night to you.
Yes, wonderful. Make sure you turn off anything else you're listening to. It's good
Okay,
to
I'll do
have
that.
you. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. Happy Father's Day.
Let me turn on this television. Yes,
Yes, you
yes,
have
please.
to
You have
probably
my
turn. You
attention.
have to turn it off, right? So let me turn off
Okay.
your microphone while you do that. And Mr. Victor Lewis, happy Father's Day and welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Thank you very much, ma'am, and welcome to everybody. I'm happy to hear the kids, and the excellent answers that they're providing us.
Yes, yes, very, very great as well. Yes, great, great, great. And there is Mr. Cami Holder. Mr. Holder, welcome to the Marcia Week Show.
Hi, good evening, Marcia. Good evening, viewers. How are you?
Oh, great, great, great. Happy Father's Day, sir.
Thank you, Marcia.
Yes, we honor the daddies today. And I have the general was in, and let me put him back in. Mr. Franklin and kids, this is the general. Good night, Mr. Franklin, and happy Father's Day, sir. You're muted?
Yes. Good night, and thanks again for having me. I'm especially happy to see the young children. You know, I always like little children. I feel better with the children. You know, so I can help raise them. Or in some instances, you know, I like to set examples for them. Sometimes I get cussed from little children. That surprised me. I'll talk about that later. You know, so I like little respectful children. You know, I always tell the people I get along better with children than I do with adults. And they tell me, "Oh, that's because you're childish." I say, "Well, no problem," you know. But I find that they're honest.
Yes,
You know,
very.
children are generally honest.
Yes, yes. And I love the responses that they are giving us. So we have four daddies who are on here tonight. These are they're not your daddy, but I want you to speak, talk to them, and tell them what do you think happens to a young girl, Naomi, and Naraya. If there's a young girl who does not have that father figure in her life and have that closeness with her father, tell me some of the pitfalls, some of the issues that they might have. Naomi.
One of the issues is that whenever a child sees another child with their father, they get really jealous or they start to get really emotional.
Wow. Can you come forward, lean in a little bit more and say that again? Wow. Did you all hear this? Go ahead.
When a child has no father and they see another child with their father, they get jealous or they start to get emotional.
They get jealous and they start to get emotional. And how do you think those children act out that?
Some might start to ignore others, even when their best friend or a regular friend has a father, they start to ignore them, or they just start isolating themselves from everyone.
Wow. Okay. Anything else, Naomi?
Again, things like this also might lead to suicide. That's what some kids do.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Naraya. What happens to little girls that do not have their father in their life or a father figure?
Um,
Come a little closer. Come a little closer to the mic, Naraya. You guys are doing so good. Go ahead.
As my sister said, they might get jealous or start to get emotional, start crying, complaining, ask themselves, why don't I have a father?
They want to know why they don't have a father, and that's how you see it. Thank you also. Anything else, Naraya, you want to add?
Some get bullied for it.
Some of the children get bullied because they don't have a father. Other kids might tease them. You're thinking. Yes, I see. Very good. I tell you, I know that they write very, very good writers. They did very good with their composition. It was a pleasure being their teacher. How about Caleb? Caleb, what happens, you think, for little boys that do not have their fathers in their lives?
A lot of little boys I know, they are very soft, and sometimes a lot of them don't they don't talk to other people or engage with other people.
So hold a minute before you go. Listen. So you're saying a couple things. You said that that boys that do not have their fathers, men, are you listening? Because we're going to pick up on this discussion, that they are soft. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, so like, boys when they play sports, so you need to use your contact body as body weight. And some of them can't even take it and start balling out. A lot of them are very disrespectful.
Oh, so they're soft. They become soft boys when they don't have their fathers. Men, I want
please.
you. These men. You're in the hot seat. The children are talking to you tonight. The other thing you said, Mr. Caleb King, you said that the children, they don't engage with others. They're very quiet. Explain that for me, please.
Like, some of them, they just like be themselves. You find a lot of them in the corner just like drawing something, or they don't really talk to people as much as at home. They don't really talk that much. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah. Wow, but that's what you notice. Is there anything else you notice with little boys that don't have their fathers?
A lot of them are Molly, and some of them are not ready for manhood.
They're not ready for manhood. Oh Lord, they're not ready for manhood. Oh my God. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Now, now let me go back to the girls. I'm gonna release them because Naomi and Raya, Mr. Franklin, we could talk to them for the whole night. And I'm gonna ask the fathers to have a question for them. All right, how about that? It's going a little longer than I expected, but we can't let them get off like this. This is too wonderful. So, Naomi, I forgot the question I was going to ask you. I get so caught up in all of these answers. Okay, I know what I was going to ask you, Naomi. What would you want to say to these fathers on this program this evening? If the last thing you had to give these fathers advice, what kind of advice would you give these fathers tonight?
Advice, I'd say be there for your child, first of all. Second of all, don't let them like be inside all day. And third of all, discipline your girl.
Wow, you all said so. They said be there for your child. Listen, that is on the program, and that is listening at home. They are 11 years old, and this is what they're saying. They want the fathers to be there for their child. They want them to not let the children stay inside all the time. Is that what you said, Naomi? Not stay inside all the. Wow, who would believe that they want that, and that they must discipline their children? Wow. Interesting.
Yes,
Yes, go ahead, Naomi.
And I know a lot of people. I know a lot of fathers tend to not really whoop their children, if that's the word that I may use. They tend to like just forget about it. Fathers, a mother would say no, father would say yes, and then some fathers just, when their child gets out of hand, they just tend to go to the best weapon to use for whooping, the belt or the slipper.
Okay, so you're saying that they need to be more consistent with discipline. Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. You hear? I'm a green Cammy holder that the Child Protection Act, they should have spoken to the children, because the children are asking for the parents to discipline them. Do you hear what's going on here? Let me hear from Naraya. Naraya, darling. Oh, you guys are so brilliant. I'm a pro teacher tonight. Naraya, what would you say to fathers? These gentlemen are on the show, and you have 600 and, well, quite a number. Let me not intimidate you with any numbers. People are watching. Okay, so Narayo, what would you say to fathers who are listening?
I would say that you should be there for your children and not favor the boys the most. You
Mm.
try to stay in connection with them, reach out to them, be there, try to have fun with them, and not be so strict.
And not be so strict. Wow. And you said something there, Naraya, that the fathers must not favor the boys over the girls. Why did you say that?
Because um tender fathers tend to like favor the boys the most instead of football and trucks and all those things.
And as girls, you recognize it, and it affects you.
Yep.
Yes, you want that attention too. Oh my Lord, they're too sweet, and they must have fun and not be too strict. So let's just summarize before I go to Caleb. Be there for their children, not allow them to stay inside all the time. That means they're saying, don't keep them on their devices all the time, Daddy. They want to be disciplined, and you're to be consistent in discipline, right? Not favor the boys more than the girls. They want a daddy that have fun, and also not to be too strict. Okay, let's hear from Caleb, the boy. Caleb, what do you say to these four dads and to all the dads listening? What would you say?
First of all, just saying to everybody who's here present on the meeting with us, and to people who are watching, happy Father's Day. And let's get started. And let me just say that first, you need to play a little ball and make them tough, right? Because you can't just have these soft little boys in your house just day playing games on their phone all the time. You gotta make them big and strong, mighty for the things that come in head, because things that happen to your family further on in the future, you have to know what to do in this situation, like how to protect your family and how to, you know, respect them. At first, second, you need to discipline the boys and make sure they don't be disrespectful. Because if they're disrespectful to their family, they're gonna disrespect the people in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So if you make sure that they're disciplined, they know they're locked down for manhood, and they got everything ahead of them set.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh Lord, have his mercy. This is so tremendous. And I, oh Lordy. Ah, let me go to the gentleman. I had to turn off some mics, so there was a dog, a barking of a dog that was coming through. But let me go to Paul, what do you want to say to these children here tonight?
Well, first thing, I believe that Caleb should have been used as a consultant with the child protection bill. You know, many times we put the children one side because we say they're just children, but these are individuals who have a wealth of knowledge that we can use. And I noticed that we have Naomi, a very powerful name in the scriptures, Caleb, and is Noria?
Naraya.
Noriah, very powerful names. Um, I have a question for the young people though. Um, how can you tell that you have a great father.
Who's going to answer that? Who is going to answer? How can you tell you have a great father?
Me.
Okay, go ahead, Naomi.
I think you can tell by like observing their behavior towards you and towards others, and making sure like they do the right things for you, because a lot of them try to do the right thing but then they end up doing it in the wrong way. So I think you should observe their behavior, and once you're fine with their behavior, you should say to yourself, my dad is a good dad. And you should like test him to see if he genuinely cares about you.
Wow, thank you so much. Naraya, anything to add?
Um uh okay. So you shouldn't be the ones reaching out to your fathers, but if your fathers are abroad, they should be the ones reaching out to you.
Wow, that is deep. You should not be the ones reaching out to your father. The father should be reaching out to you. Wow, that is deep, Naraya. That's a good one. They're all good. Very good. How about Caleb?
So once again, I'm back here again, and I'm gonna say that you need to be there, and when you observe the father in your life, you need to know, oh, I'm gonna take some stuff that he gave me, or he's giving me to take on to my family that I'm gonna create myself. And then when you know he's like there for you, y'all will just be chill.
Awesome, awesome. I tell you. Oh my Lord. This is, because of time, I can only take one more question and comment from the fathers before they go. Any of the other fathers want to ask them a question or ask them a question? It's more like that. Is that Cami?
Yes, hi. First, I want to say, Marcy, I think that this is really special tonight because very often we in our society believe that children are not to be heard, just seen. And when I can hear a young lady speaking to the impact of an absent father, it reminds me of something I saw a couple of months ago, where fathers are absent from the lives of girls. They will tend to seek love from sugar daddies or date men which are older. They will also find it hard to navigate relationships with men later on in life. And it is sad that the Child Protection Bill did not take into consideration something called parental alienation syndrome, because
Yes.
we are
Mr.
destroying these young
Holder,
people.
let me hold you back on that a little bit. And I know we're ready to go with that. Okay, but hold that. And is there anything that you want to ask the children themselves tonight?
No, they did quite well, Marcia. I'm very impressed with those kids, and I want to commend you on this show with those kids. So I'm good.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. We're gonna get back there though, Mr.
Holder.
Cami Holder. I know you're passionate about that. Let me ask, any of the other fathers have anything that they would want to say at this moment?
Marcia, I want to say to everybody listening, these children appear to be very well raised, and I must congratulate their parents for doing so. It is a joy to see children, and these are intelligent and so far intellectual children. They didn't, you chose well, Marcia. I'm hoping we have more children like these around, but they're not going to be very many like Caleb. Caleb is, he is one of a kind. I love him already, and I only met him a few minutes ago. You know, he you sure he's 11? You know, he speaks like a person much older, you know.
Yes.
And I just
And
hope he ends
can
up
I just
having there.
quickly tell you as well that Dave, he's a mentee of my husband, Caleb. Dave has a club with them on a Sunday evening. They didn't have today because it's Father's Day, and we allow them to be with their family. But Dave, at 3:30, he has them for an hour, and they log into Zoom, and he's been mentoring these boys for some time. So he is one of Dave's mentees. But go ahead, Mr. Franklin.
No, no, that's it, Marcy. I just impressed by these kids, you know, and it gives me hope because when I see these three children, you know, and I see what I said about Barbados is in good hands. If we can get people like these, you know, making the jump to try to lead this place, you know, in my old age, I'd be happy to know that I have Caleb out there fighting for me, you know.
Yes, and everybody's saying very impressive. Keep it up, children. People are really, really, and they are wonderful children. They go to People's Cathedral, the girls, and Caleb goes to Charles F. Brooms. They're also in the arts. They act. Caleb is an actor, and he sings as well. And the girls, they do dancing at Praise Academy of Dance. And you know what? They were part of that group that went to NIFCA, and they are part of Speak Life that was disqualified. You believe that? And these are the caliber of children, and they were the ones who were disappointed. I remember Caleb saying, but he's confused. He says, but I'm confused, Auntie. I'm confused. I thought what we said was from the Bible. So these are the things that happened sometimes, right?
One question.
Now, we are not getting. No, let's be clear, and I will address this after. Let's get the children off, and then I'm going to address this because I think that people are mixing up things tonight. And let me just say, I got permission from the parents for these children to be on here tonight. I deal with children all the time. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in what I do, but there are some things that I would have learned over a number of years. In fact, I could tell you that the parents are with them in the room right now, okay? And they didn't come on here to talk about politics. The children are not involved in politics. Come on, folks. Come on. Let's not go there and let's not mix things up, please. Please. Nothing to do with politics. All right, wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for coming on, Naraya and Naomi Matthias and Caleb King. You are wonderful, very, very wonderful tonight. You are the future of Barbados, also the present of Barbados. And I wish you all the very best in the common entrance. And regardless, you are brilliant children. You are brilliant children. Regardless of what happens, it's just an exam, and things happen, on an exam morning. So you're not going to determine who you are based on the results of that exam. Okay, I want you to know that I'm proud of you, and your parents are proud of you. And to mom and dad, wherever you are, you take a bow. They were wonderful tonight. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, Naraya, and thank you, Caleb.
I had one question for them, Marcia.
Who is this? Paul?
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead, Paul.
Okay. A lot of times fathers are concerned about discipline and food and shelter and everything. So, right? I want to find out from the youngsters, how important are the words "I love you" from your daddy?
Very important. Very important.
How important? In what way is it important to you? Why is it important?
It's very important because when they say that to you, you know the connection clicking between you and him. So you know this is the person who loves me and who is going to protect me with his life.
Oh my God.
Forever until he passes.
Oh Lord, they're gonna let me cry now. Listen, y'all make him kill him. This is the reason I wanted them on. For those of you who I don't know, sometimes we just lose the focus. I want us to have a family discussion. I thought of doing this program, but I didn't want us to come on as just adults. Let's hear from the children. Let's hear from the
Yes.
teenagers. I'm hoping that Timon can come on. I tried to get some teenagers as well. Guys, this is so important tonight. Did you hear what he said when they hear I love you? Because sometimes dads, not all dads say those words, even though they love their children. Oh, I'm touched. Naraya and Naomi, what the words "I love you" from your father? What does that mean?
I think it means that it makes you feel special and it makes you feel empowered and safe.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Naraya,
Hearing those words makes me feel grounded, special, and safe.
and safe, and safe. Wow, wow. And that was a great question too, Paul. Lord of mercy. I mash up now, Mr. Franklin. I can't do no more show now. I mash up. Them children
There's a
mash
reason why. There's a reason why I asked that question. I am in my 60s, and about 2 or so years ago, I confronted my mother, and I said to her, "Mommy, for all the years I know you, I've never heard the words 'I love you' coming from you." And she said, "But you should know." I said, I know I should know, but you never told me. So what I'm saying is that we should be telling our children that we love them all through their lives.
Wow. Did you guys hear that, children? And let me see if these men will be vulnerable too. Anybody here had that same any if you didn't have it, then you don't need to respond. Is there anybody here on this program that had that challenge with either mother or father? You didn't hear I love you? No, everybody else. Well, I went through this a similar thing, and I had to ask my mother when I got a certain age as well,
Mhm.
about that. And yeah, so I've experienced that. Anybody in the comment section, let's be vulnerable. Because this is
Yes.
part of healing, and some of us had to go through counseling or whatever, all of those things, and we get over it. But
Mhm.
it's important to hear the I love you. As parents, we need to open our mouths
Yes.
and actually say it, and not
Mhm.
tell the child that they should know, you
Mm.
know? Yeah, yeah. Oh man, this is really blessed. This is blessed. Well, let me let the kids go. They've been on for a while waiting from 6:45. So let them go. Now, thank you, Naraya. Thank you, Naomi. Beautiful, wonderful job. Caleb, a wonderful job. Okay. And we are going to chat some more. I see Caleb is going to Trinidad to do Speak Life as well. And I'm so happy I'll get to see him there. Naraya and Naomi, I'll see you when we get back. All right. Okay. Bye bye, guys. See you all. Thank you for coming
Goodbye,
in.
Barbados.
All righty, girls. Bye bye. Oh my Lord. Woo. Ah, Mr. Franklin.
You see why I don't ever give up on children. Because sometimes when you see some children misbehave and stuff, you tend to think that really what's happening. But look what is happening. We have these gems. These are gems. You know,
Yes, definitely.
and I was so Mars. I'm happy. that you brought them. You know, I could have gone on with them for listening to them. You know, because you don't have this refreshing thing about the young people anymore. You don't hear it, and one of the reasons you don't hear it is that your parents are too busy developing their lives, their mortgage, paying for their mortgage,
Yes.
paying for all these nice things, paying for the trips overseas and that kind of stuff, and they're not spending enough time with their children. And then you have people who want to spend time with their children. We have a court system in this country that want cleaning out, working out, a good shovel and disinfecting and clean it out. They destroy. This court system have destroyed more children in Barbados than they've helped.
Yeah.
And nobody seems to want. Let me do something. You know, right now, we still, even though we don't have bastardy on our books, they still treat our children like bastards. You have a situation where if you are in a relationship, husband and wife, or what they call a union other than a marriage, those children are treated, you go to the high court. First of all, you go to the high court if there's a problem. Now, if you have a relationship, you don't have 5 years with the mother, or you don't live with the mother, or it's one of those casual relationships, but a child ends up, you that's your child, you love it. But you go to the magistrate's court, and the magistrates, in most instances, apply rough justice, more like frontier justice, and those children are affected by it. And I don't think the government or anybody has the time to care about children who are from relationships where it is not a marriage or thing. And then some magistrates go and break the law, and then we're short because they come under the Maintenance Act. When you go before a magistrate, you go for maintenance. And magistrates then go and impose all kind of conditions on fathers. Look, it is hard for men to be involved in their children's life once the courts get involved. And I tell you something, you have the mothers who are angry, given the father's problem. You have the courts staffed by mostly women, and then some men who don't like men themselves, making life difficult for other men. You know, a single father out there who was not married to the or who wasn't in one of these long-term relationships, the children will end up more so than not in relationship. They're looking for love, they're looking for something because the courts keep them away. I'm involved with a case now as we speak. I am going to represent the father there who the courts ordered the mother to turn the child over to the father on some days. And the mother would make it difficult, do everything possible to make sure that man don't see his child. Even call the police. The father had to go there with the police to get the child, to get access to his child, even though they have a court order. And when there's a court order, first of all, those bogus court orders that the court makes in the magistrate's court, because they can't be enforced. They're not lawful.
Yeah.
And the men need to know that, and they need to head to the high court to get access to their children. Because the magistrate is only, the Maintenance Act is only concerned about money. That's what it's called, Maintenance Act. So when you go before a magistrate, and the magistrate will rough up the father, and then don't let you see children and stuff, no. You head to the high court, because that is the only place, because the magistrates don't have that power.
Yeah.
But they take it upon themselves because the fathers don't know.
Yes.
We're talking enough for the time being.
Yeah, actually, thank you, Mr. Franklin, and we kind of moved. The children touched on a lot of the other things that we wanted to deal with. There is a video I want us to look at, and this is a mother. You talk about a female, so this is a woman, and it's coming out of America. Talking about the need of a father in a child's life and the issue of fatherlessness. And we're going to set up that video. But before we do that, Cami Holder, are you still on? Oh yes, here. Okay, I thought you were stuck. Cami,
Yes, Marcy, I'm still here.
Yes, I know you have been an advocate for fathers, especially fathers who are fighting legally in the court system, and you have been an activist on this issue. can you just talk to, you said that there were some changes with the child protection bill as it relates to, there's a particular areas relating to fathers. Can you just quickly expound on that for us, please?
Marcia, what I can say is that over the years, let's say last 7 years, I have had to complain for magistrate judges because of the reports I'm getting from men in terms of going to court and being ill-treated, especially if you're soft, you will get manipulated and taken advantage of. Because my concern is that there are too many instances where fathers are being taken advantage of, and the system, as Caswell said, is really broken. Now, they've had gender sensitivity training. So you'll find then that they're more operating as fair as possible. However, case management is awful. The system is absolutely broken. Your fathers who've been waiting to get back to court 7 and 8 years, mothers floating access orders, and as Caswell said, the only way to deal is the High Court. But unfortunately, you can't get any time. Another thing that I'm concerned about, and I'm saying that the only body benefiting from these issues are lawyers. You have lawyers who don't say to you they need $10,000 upfront as a retainer because the issues are highly emotional and it takes a lot of time. However, there was an order given years ago that mediation should take place, but very few lawyers are willing to give proper instructions after getting instructions from their client to mediate. So you find then that the child suffers, the father suffers, and then the emotional abuse of the child continues. And nobody, neither government, B nor D, has taken this here seriously. But yet they wanted recently to put a fine of $100,000 in the child protection bill under what is known as financial abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Holder. Dave, are we ready with that? Thanks to everybody for being. People are really really responding and saying that they grew up tough and did not hear the "I love you" and all of that as well. We all came from that era. Dave, are we ready with that video? Yes, thank you very much.
Watch this.
We have adopted some wrong standards. We are judging our men many times by the wrong value system. We are using his children sometimes against him. We have been told that the only benefit that a Black man provides in a home is money. And if he does not give us money to take care of those kinds of financial provisions, that he has no value. And what my research has proven to me is that a Black man, any man in any home, provides much more than financial support. The man provides guidance, instruction, discipline for the children, which we sorely need in our Black homes. He provides gratification, fulfillment, protection. I mean, there's so many other values, and these values are the ones that are missing in our children today, which is why many Black children are in the street, out of control themselves, disrespectful, don't have any regard for anyone. And most of us are scared of them, and everybody else is, because nobody has a way into them to try to gain any control over them. So I maintain that a return to traditional family values, certain clearly defined gender responsibilities for Black men and Black women in running a home and a relationship will help us to produce a better child. And if we produce a better child, certainly we'll have a better future and a better nation. Unfortunately, as I say, since money has been used as the measure, many times if a Black man does not have money to give us, we won't even let him see his children. We won't let him spend any time with it because he does not give us whatever the child support is. And I'm not saying that we don't need money to raise a child, but I try to explain to Black women that raising a child consists of much more than feeding, clothing, and sheltering it. That's maintaining one. To raise one, you need a return of the parental coalition of the father and the mother to put the proper values into the child. Many of our boys, when we raise them alone, they grow up with the female emotional mechanism. They are are suspicious, they are doubtful, they're disrespectful of womanhood, they are bitchy, they can't make a decision. And many of our girls who grow up in a home where there's no man present, they go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have any idea how to live with a man day to day, how to prepare a proper meal, how to be a mother, how to just be in love in the home. Most of what our people and our children especially have learned about how you have a relationship, they learned off of television. And television doesn't represent our needs. And so a lot of the confusion has come, from outside agencies that we have not recognized how detrimental it has been to us as a people.
Wow. Yes. Oh my goodness.
Powerful and true.
Could you repeat, Mr.
No, I
Franklin?
said powerful and true.
Powerful and true. Let me hear from Mr. Victor Lewis. You heard that lady, that Sharazad Ali, and the show that she was on Larry Elder's show there on YouTube. So we got a little piece of that to share tonight. Mr. Lewis, any thoughts on what she just said? She says money has been used as a measure, and she says that the children need more than money. Any thoughts there, sir? You're muted.
The dog.
Okay, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was muted before, in my bow house.
Yeah.
The family that was interviewed just now, the children. It is my belief that these individuals are from functional homes, and when we would identify with the general disposition of those two girls and Caleb, it is my belief that mom and dad were both present in terms of the development of the home.
Actually, no. Just because I saw the comment in the chat, so without I have to speak the truth, and I know that the families would not know. They've had, they're part of a community, and those parents have done is that they have, though they might not have mom and dad present in their home, in the home, they've had a community. There's Uncle Dave. They call him Uncle Dave. There are other uncles in their lives and so on. So I just want to make that clear, because I saw that in a comment. That these are children from well-to-do homes, and it's not really true. But go ahead, sir.
All right, so I appreciate it. So when you spoke just now of the role that Dave is playing in the community, when we identify with these gaps, we have those structures that can fill those voids. And I think that this is critically important in terms of the development of our homes, whether mom is not present or dad is not present, that we can have an individual to fill these particular voids. But when I listen to Camille with the general problems that males are experiencing in our society, especially within the courts, it's a real challenge to think that we want to develop fathers that are responsible when we can see throughout the cross section of our society that men are under so much pressure. So dysfunctionality in the home is a very significant dimension that we should also seek to address. And I love, the direction that Cami spoke to just now, because that in itself is one that we have to pay some very careful attention to. I was listening to a program this evening out of UE, and they were speaking to also the issues of crime in our society today. And the commissioner had to say that, the structure of the criminal system for the Barbados Police Service, or the Barbados Police Force as it once was developed out of a colonial era. And this colonial mentality is still present within our court system today. And he says now that we need to restructure the Barbados Police Service to redefine the society that we are living in today.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Lewis. Caswell, you heard the video a while ago, and you said, well said. What about it in as concise a way as possible? What about it that would you say, yes, it resonated with you?
Marcia, those were my thoughts before she said them. Because people believe that all a father is there for is to give money, and they don't want you to have access to your children. You don't want to provide guidance. You want to carry them with the grandmother. We have this situation. And when I heard that lady speaking, I said, well, look, this is exactly what the mothers in Barbados need to hear. This is exactly what the court system in Barbados needs to hear. Because as I tell you, the magistrate's court is only concerned with maintenance. And so when you just give the money, that's all it is about. Because just give the money, because in those days, when that Maintenance Act came into force, you were dealing with bastards. So you committed almost something like a crime when you want to get somebody pregnant without being in wedlock. So they treated you like a criminal, almost like a criminal. So all you got to do is pay for your sins, and it's still prevailing in society today. It has not worked. If you look and you will see who ended up before the court. And I can tell you something, and I'm going to say this, and people are going to get vexed with me, and I'm not going to be retracting. Mothers are the biggest problem in children's lives these days. When you see the delinquents, you usually find a mother that tried to brandy show herself and don't want the father involved. And you will see a lot of criminals are from single homes by mothers who wouldn't want to acknowledge the father after they have given them the semen. There, after that, they don't want the man in the lives. They treat them badly, and they don't realize that the father has value outside of money, and that is where we find a significant number of our criminals in Barbados, single mother homes.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Franklin. And Paul, there's something that that she said, Sharazad, I hope I'm pronouncing the name proper, Sharazad Ali said in that particular video. She talked about a lot of women don't realize that we now need a parental coalition, a father and mother in the home. What are your thoughts about that? What can you say to Barbadians about that?
Um, she said father and mother, not father and father or mother and mother. Remember, she said that.
Mm-hmm.
But society wants to tell us that the new norm is mother and mother, father and father. I believe that if we go by what God says, He is the Heavenly Father. He is the one who knows what is best for His children. So I totally agree with her that a family needs both father and mother. I mean, the father don't have to be there in some cases, but his presence needs to be felt. The child needs to know that daddy is still around. He is not there, but he's still around. Now, Caleb said something very important that I want to speak on. He said some of the boys are soft, and I
Mm-hmm.
made a note of that. I made a note of that, and I said a lot of the boys are soft because they imitate the personality that they're under.
Mm-hmm.
And I must at times agree with Brother Caswell, because I also have a note here that says some mothers are the cause of fatherlessness and criminals. It may seem harsh, but that's a fact, and we have to learn to face facts, because that's the only way that we can get healing in our land for the children that are there.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm really hoping, Cami, that mothers are listening tonight to what the gentlemen are saying, because a lot of times what we tend to do, we're hearing it, what you're all saying through our pain. We're hearing through the pain. We heard from the children, Mr. Holder, tonight, and I hope we would our hearts to be humble. If we heard from the children, I hope hearing the children would humble our hearts, so we can really hear. Let's hear from our men tonight, and let's see if we can get some change happening. right? Let's see if we can hear some change. So, Mr. Holder,
Yes, Marcy. Yes.
yes. And is there anything from that video that we have not commented on that you want to you want to sink your teeth in at this point?
The only thing I would want to sink my teeth in is the whole idea of how society takes a very casual approach to the whole idea of access. And like casual, I have seen where the only emphasis seems to be on cash. The process is so flawed that any custodial parent, be it man or woman, and most often it's the female, walks off to the street, goes to court, fills out a form, no social inquiry report is done, puts that non-custodial parent in court, money is awarded, and there's never any follow-up to ensure those funds goes where they are supposed to go in terms of the maintenance upkeep of the child. There are many instances where the child is one place by a grandmother and the support goes elsewhere, and support should always follow the child. It goes a step further. In this country of Barbados, the Ministry of Education continues to break the law where mothers turn up at school to register children and deliberately leave off the names of those children or child from that registration form. It means the father can't go to the school, can't participate in PTA, have no access to the child's educational record. And only today, a guy said to me, he have a child that he have not seen in 7 years, and the principal, out of their good nature, secretly emails him the school report. And that should not be the case in this country. So when the ministry give instructions that unless your name is on a school registration form, you don't have access to, the ministry needs to be brought to a Christian understanding. And very soon, there will be. So Marcia, those are things I wish that society will understand that we need to deal with. And the lawyers need to have a conscience and understand it cannot be about a payday only, but the welfare of the child. And I will not stop until change takes place in this country as it relates to fathers' rights.
Yeah, yeah. There are fathers messaging me as this is so emotional, Mr. Franklin. They're messaging me say I've not seen my child. I'm getting the messages on my phone. I don't even know what to do. I will have to pass them on to Caswell and Mr. Holder. But this is a real issue, and I know how we can be as Black women. A lot of times, as I keep saying, we are hearing it from our hurt. And sometimes we have to stop and think about, just stop, please, and let it not be about ourselves. The children were on first, and I really want this show to be transformative and for us to really experience some kind of change in our mindset, because I know we're not on here. This is not about the government at the moment, really. There are some issues, as Cami said, that need to change, but we need to change as the parents. And if we want a better Barbados, what's happening tonight, Mr. Franklin, that we're going down into the foundations, right? We're going into the foundations and digging up. And that is what's going on tonight. And it's not pretty, but it's important. And to those men that are messaging me, I am not an expert. Please understand, I don't know anything about what to do, but I'm going to pass on your information. I can't message you back now, but I'm reading the stuff and I will pass it on to those who I believe would be able to assist you. I'm using some videos because I know, Cami, you have something prepared, but I think it's going to come out as we are going through these videos. There is a rapper that is so confident on stage, and we see him, Tupac, and Tupac died very early, and they had an interview with him years ago. And I'm going to see if Dave can let us hear what Tupac is saying. And look at his eyes. Look at his eyes as he's speaking tonight, guys. You can go ahead, Dave. I think he's having trouble with that one. But repeat.
I know for a fact that had I had a father, had I had somebody, and I hate saying this because white people love hearing black people talk about this, but had I had a father, had I had some of these opportunities, I'd have been able to help my mother more. She wouldn't have went the road she went. I could have been a better son. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't have went that road. It was the absence of my father. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with him being daddy not being there. My mother's dealing with him being my man not being there. You know, so many problems in our community that affect everything.
Now this is here we have somebody who is was accomplished at the time in rap, and I mean, you know, he was involved in some kind of violence, and he was shot to death. And which brings us to our topic tonight, really, is fatherlessness and its impact on criminality. And not that Tupac was a criminal, please. I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm trying to say is that how sometimes this kind of that fatherlessness and the alienation from the parent can cause some of these issues. And I know Mr. Lewis is an ex-police, is retired from the police force. Did I get that right, Mr. Lewis?
Correct, ma'am.
Yes. And is there anything you want to say about that, sir?
Well, you know, I want to echo first, you know, in terms, because you're talking about substance and giving the listeners, giving all of us, you know, something to take away. So I want to go back to when I was around 11, 12 years old, and I was going to St. Margaret's Mixed School, that's in Foster Hall, St. John. And whenever I entered that school, I could recall there was a blue card up the steps as you go to the first floor of the school. And on that blue card was the Ten Commandments. I never forget that. I'm now 67. And I can recall that from the time I was 11 years old, 11, 12 years old. And on that sheet were the Ten Commandments that said, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. And from the school system, not mom and dad per se, they had their role to play. But within the school, there was this particular environment that instilled values into us. So I always came along, you know, as a young boy, just focusing on the fact that there's a commandment there that says to me from God, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, and all of the above. Now we fast forward to 2024, and those 10 commandments still exist. And when I think of myself within the school system, I was there as year head at Allen School, and the same atmosphere in terms of seeking to identify with mom and dad whenever there's an issue. Mom would most likely be present, but I would also want to hear from the father figure. And there were big issues when I sought to seek who is the father. I'm hearing from you, yes, mom, but who is the father? Let me get mom and dad in on this particular matter. So when we speak of values and we're thinking of the actual fabric of our society today, I think what is significantly missing, and over the time at Allen School, I saw that we had this subject called religious education, and that is no longer part of the curriculum, where religious values were taught, whether you're Rastafari, whether you're Hindu or otherwise, but moral values were part of the fabric of what we instill to our children. Now, let me take you back to the police force, because as I said before, you know, the commissioner of police said that the shape policy was done through a colonial system. When I think of what transpired in the police force, I can recall a time, you know, that I mean resonates with me all like now. When I was working at the Bridge Police Station, And when I came back from patrol, of course, after patrolling, you write a report. And in writing that report, I was advised that my report needs to reflect certain areas of the society or certain areas of the community of which I patrol. So I had to report on Lady Mead Gardens. I can report on Downlow Lane and Baxter's Road and Bay Street, as the case may be. So we have our society that there are people and other people. And when we think of that as a focus of developing our community, we can't afford to have double standards in our systems when we think of development as we would want it to be, as we would want to have the best of fabric. The police, along with our educational systems, must develop better structures so that we can see a better output from our society today.
Marcia, I am glad he spoke about the police because let me preface what I'm saying by saying that I love the police. I support them. I give them my backing, but there are times when they need to get a lash or two, and this is the time where they will get one. Some of the biggest problems in the raising of your children come from the police. Let's say a mother comes to the police station and complain for a man. And that mother look good. You know, police looking for a woman. And the man is treated very badly, roughed up, and do all kinds of things. I've seen it done. As a matter of fact, there's one instance where a woman went to the police station to complain. This was years ago. Complained for the man. Police came, and that policeman ended up being the next husband. Let me tell you, that is what happens in Barbados. So when you having problems with men having access to their children, a lot of it is because the mother looked good and the police want some. That is as simple as that. Something has to give. I had a friend who complained for a guy, and the police thought that it was a man-woman relationship and thing. He stopped with her girlfriend. She had to complain for him to get him to stop. You know, so when you have these problems with mothers and the children, a lot of it comes from policemen who will see the opportunity for sex. And then they make the men's lives miserable. When you try to get access to your child, he brings his friends and harass you and make life difficult for you. And they don't really think in the station book because it is not something that they can report on because they're looking for women.
Yeah.
And this too has to be investigated. So, but even when a man complains about it in the to the people saying it to him, they laugh at him. But at the same time, a child is being damaged because policemen too horny.
Yeah. Oh my God. I tell you. There is something I want us to look at.
Sorry, Marcia. Not only policemen, police women too. Because if the policewoman likes the girl, you're in trouble too.
Wow.
Because
it's some of everything.
Yeah.
It's some of everything. I mean, the emotions are so raw tonight. I'm trying to guide to take us on a path here. I'm trying my best. I think I'm just gonna let it flow and let it happen. Mr. Holder, somebody has a question here in the audience, and if you have questions, you can ask. And at the same time, Dave is going to get. There is a one on statistics in America that we're going to look at and then compare to what we have here in Barbados. We should have somebody from Bermuda joining, but I'm not seeing that person as yet in the studio. So, and he has some statistics on Bermuda as well. Again, in the meantime, while I'm looking for the question for Mr. Holder, and this was coming, oh boy, who was Leanne Bell. Mr. Holder, the question is on the screen. Think about it. Let me just say to everybody, remember, I'm not on Facebook. The Marcia Week Show, we're not on Facebook, not of our own doing, but we've been removed at the moment. We're appealing. So I'm going to ask you to share. It's important that you take a moment and share the program. that you like the program. Make sure you like it. All right, so that it goes up. Mr. Franklin, how many likes do we have? You always
231.
231, a measly 231. There are 829 of us. I know this is not a program where we are pointing finger at the government and so on, but this is so important to the change that we need in Barbados. I'm going to ask you to share it. It's not a soft program. It's a very important program, right? Because all of us were touched by this in one way or the other. So share, please. We're on X. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter. We're there as Week's Show, the Week Show, and you're going to like it and share it out. And we're also live on Telegram. All right, look for us on Telegram as well and share it out, please. We need your help. We have to fight back. All of us that's on tonight, we have to fight back to preserve this show. All right, Mr. Holder, you have a question there.
Okay, yes, I've seen the question. The best way I can answer that is we have an abundance of lawyers in this country, and they're following each other for work, right? Doctors do not make money if people are well. And you must understand that if you have a situation where lawyers are fighting for work, and they have a family matter which is highly contentious, the longer that matter is carried dragged through the court system is more money. Despite, yes, there's a limit in which legal aid will pay. But you have a situation where lawyers are saying to you, for me to look at that matter that has already been in the court system for 5 or 6 years, I want $10,000 up front as a retainer fee. What do you expect? What I will say to you is that I have continuously advocated. I've spoken to the current Attorney General. I've spoken to Chief Justice the last, and he understood what I was talking about. I made my submission on the Child Protection Bill because I'm hearing also, and I'm seeing and hear people are saying, but fathers need to be in the life of children. I agree with that. However, nobody asks why some fathers are absent. Look, there's a lot of false, malicious accusations. I know the situation where a father for 8 years could not see his daughter. And you know why? Married someone else, and it was a malicious accusation that he troubled his daughter. And you know what? After 8 years, case was decided. No evidence was provided, but the man lost 8 years of his life. You know what? Had to report to the police station on a malicious allegation, and does not have a relationship with his child. Then you have women committing perjury, but yet one maximize his support and minimize visitation. So a lot of men walk away for their sanity. I personally had to dodge a protection order because let me tell you, I see what is not written, I hear what is not spoken, and I read not what is not written. Because the system have some inherent biases, and I have lived 523,000 hours on this earth, and I'm just come down. So I understand how people can manipulate the system to their advantage. And women are more emotionally intelligent than men. Women will go to court, put their head on the side, start crying, and they hear judicial officer ask, "You must be hurting." Look, I can write a book on it as it relates to these issues in Barbados. You can imagine being told or hearing that you may kidnap a child and run away with a child in Barbados. Those are the sort of pronouncements that are made in this country and accepted by the courts of this country. So it is not easy sometimes for a father to stick around if he wants to remain sane. And then there's malicious accusations they have to deal with constantly at the police. And as Caswell said, the woman looked nice, and the police don't want to hear anything you're saying because he has a different focus. But Caswell, I must say to you that is changing also. I have made representation on that also because men come to me, those who are bold enough, and they complain. And I try to speak to the powers that be about these things. But the government needs to fix the issue of case management. let me say to those who are listening, those who report to the National Security Agency, tell your partners within the agency when you're meeting next that we have to look at the social fallout of absent fathers in this country. Buying bigger guns, building more prisons, or getting more policemen will not treat to the social issues we have of the social dysfunction in this country.
Yes, yes, very well said, Mr. Holder. And people, we put this up on the screen here, and we've made some people might think it's funny. Somebody said there are lots of jackets. They say that in Jamaica as well. I was speaking to a young man that I know in the community for a little bit, and he was telling me that he now has he has a child, and I said, "Are you sure? Did you?" And he's like looking at me like I'm mad. What do you mean if I'm sure? And the reality is that, as he said, a lot of women are smarter. I know some men don't like to hear that, but they are smarter in a lot of ways, right? And you also have that going on. That is also part of what goes on, and people are stuck with situations that they have and children that they have nothing to do with. I mean, I know some of the women are going to get on me tonight, Mr. Franklin, but we have to tell the truth. And a lot of times, as he said, the women, we will cry quicker, and we call down, everybody to come and to our aid. And the men are left there and they're suffering. And some of them just flip, they literally flip. Edwin Price said something here, and I want Dave, if Dave could put up on the screen for me about the statistics. And I want to say publicly Happy Father's Day to Dave, a great dad, thank God. We have 3 wonderful children, and he is a fantastic father. And I just want to publicly thank God for him. Thank you, Dave.
He's a fantastic person.
Yes, he is a fantastic person that I've been blessed with. So Edwin says Barbados is confused. I call it a hybrid society. We're following the U.S. Let me just put my thing up here before. Oh, okay, I got that messed up there. Because I want us to hear what Edwin Price is saying. He says Barbados is confused. I call it a hybrid society. We are following the U.S. We were once under England. Look at how children go to school in England. So what he's saying is that the part of this I wanted to look at is that we're a hybrid society. I want us to listen, gentlemen of the panel and those who are watching. Listen, Dr. Anthony Cummins, you should have been on this program too. God bless you. I am reading your comments as well. I want you to listen carefully, and those who can write down these statistics. All right, and let's look at what is happening in America, the place that we are seeking to emulate. Right, everything is about America. Let's watch and see. Go ahead, Dave.
I have some disturbing stats I want to share with you about fatherless homes. And by the way, some of the stats, I've seen this before. I'm going to tell you, when you read some of these stats, you're going to sit there and say, that is insane. By the way, these stats are from 2021 of the impact a father makes in a child upbringing, both a girl and a boy. Like I said, disturbing, but you will be shell-shocked with the stats. If you get value from the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let me get right into it. The U.S. has the highest rate of children living in a single-parent household of any nation in the world. About 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers, at a rate of 23% of children living with one parent and no other adult. The United States stands over 3 times the world average of 7% of children raised by one parent. For reference, the number stands at 3% in China, 4% in India. This is not an area we want to be competing with other countries, by the way. If there is a statistic to not be competing in, this is one of the statistics. China's at 3, India's at 4, the world's at 7. We're at 23% in America, 0 bragging rights. This is the stat everybody wants to hide. And this is the stats where the side effects of this, we ain't going to see for 2 decades or 3 decades or longer. Takes a while to see the side effects. Let me continue. Even for children with a father present in the home, the average school-age boy only spends about 30 minutes per week with one-on-one conversations with his father. For comparison, the same boy, on average, will spend about 44 hours a week watching television, playing video games, and surfing the internet. In our house, there is no video games throughout the week. It's on the weekends. After you read 150 pages throughout the week, then you have the right to play video games for an hour or two on the weekend. And that's what you have to earn. You have to move your body. You have to exercise. There's certain things you need to do to get to that point. That's our household. But the stat tells you 44 hours a week of watching TV, playing video games, and surfing the internet. Let me continue. 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of teen suicides, 85% of children and teens with behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. Let me read that stat to you one more time. 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of all teen suicide, 85% of children and teen with behavioral disorder come from fatherless homes. That is a very, very big number. Next, fatherlessness likewise has a direct link to teen pregnancy and sexual activity. Roughly 70% of teenage pregnancies come from women raised in a fatherless home. 70% of teenage pregnancies comes from fatherless homes. 70%. That's a big number. And these same women have significantly higher abortion rates than women raised by both a father and a mother. On the whole, fatherless kids are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated and 11 times more likely to exhibit violent behavior than children from two-parent household. 20 times more, okay? 20 times more. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chances as children raised by just their father. You may already be blown away by the stats before, so maybe come back and let me read this to you and brace for impact if you missed it. Let me read it one more time. Listen. Just stay with me. Don't get distracted. Stay with me. Listen. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chance as children raised by just their fathers. The husband and wife raise their kid. The chance of this kid going to jail is the same as just the father raising his kids. The problem is the single mother without a father in the picture that can sit there and discipline the kids, give them hope, values, principles, all the other stuff. We play different roles. This is statistic. If somebody's watching and saying, oh my God, you're discounting women, you're discounting mothers, go get upset at the stats, not at me. This is stats. You can't get upset at 3 times 3 is 9. That's stats. I'm giving you stats that's being given to us by the government because they have access to these stats. This is disturbing. Let me continue. Girls with no fathers have lower self-esteem. We can lower crime, lower mental issues, help the economy, lower suicide rates, and decrease homelessness by bringing back the family nucleus. There are things that my wife can do as a mother that I can't do. There's things she can bring that I can't bring, but there are things I can do that she can't do. So now you may say, well, Pat, I agree. I do agree. We can lower this. We can, but then how come it's not happening? And here's the other question. Who's to blame? Who do we blame with this? Now, you may be listening to this saying, well, it's got to be the husband and wife's fault. It's got to be the man and the woman's fault. Fine. How come it's not the same ratios around the world? Why is U.S. fatherlessness at 23%? Everywhere else is 7% average. So is it really the mom and dad?
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. I sat down, I listened to this a couple times today, and I know some of us are getting caught up with the messenger. We are not saying that these are the statistics of Barbados. What I started off by saying is that we are, Mr. Franklin, we are patterning ourselves off of America. But look at what is happening in America. Let me bring Paul into this discussion on this particular video. Paul, you're listening to these statistics, and are you thinking about Barbados, and what about Barbados comes to mind?
I made a note here. international interests. We are more following international interests than our own, and this is very sad, very sad. I remember a time where um the society, not society, children, the children had a certain kind of respect when they pass the elderly, but somehow it seems as though we want to follow what comes from the US. Children now have the same rights in Barbados as the children in the US, and this ought not to be. So I'm saying we are following international interests. I have a list here though of things that we need to do in order to raise our young people, our young girls and boys to be more positive. Because I believe at the end of the day, we as fathers, we have to take our responsibility very seriously. We can no longer blame the women for what is happening to our children. We have to step to the plate and say, look, enough is enough. I am responsible. I'm responsible for my child, for not being able to see my child. We have to go all out to make sure that we do what we can do. And if we have to make it public, make it public. Let the world see, let Barbados see that we are being prevented from accomplishing what we need to accomplish.
Yes, thank you, Paul. Very well said, Mr. Franklin. Can you briefly give us? You listened to that presentation by video, and you're hearing the statistics from America, and they quoted some statistics, a little bit from China and India. As you listen to that, and you do you think of Barbados, and what aspect of it do you connect to Barbados?
The aspect of the children being raised by a father
Mm.
and not having a mother involved, that those children are more well adjusted than children raised by the mother alone. I have seen it. I've been there, done that. So I know what I'm talking about. But I had a note here that was right. I had written, and so when he spoke, he was talking. I related my note to what he is saying, because we have situations in Barbados
Mr.
where
Franklin, can you repeat what you just said there? Because when I watched the video at first, I had to listen to what he was saying a couple of times because what he's saying is not what you normally hear. Okay, so can you just repeat what you just said a while ago?
no, he said that but he said a little while ago is that he said that children who are raised by the father alone have better outcomes basically than when you're raised by the mother. And as a matter of fact, the outcome of it is the same as if you have a mother and a father raising a child, or a father raising a child, because the outcomes are the same because the father is so important.
Mm.
And I had written a note here. It might I wanted to talk about, but then you play that video and it brought my note making a bit more sense. We have situations where these guys that are raised by, I call them mother raised boys, a lot of them can only relate, the only woman that they can relate to is their mother. And what happens, they go out, they find a young lady, they get married. And you don't give, because you're not used to being able to compromise in a home with the father and mother and all kind of stuff. For instance, simple things like putting the toilet seat down. If you go there, you can find mine down now. I mean, I always because you learn to adjust. The people think don't make things a problem, but these fellas are spoiled. So they do the next thing, the family breaks up. So you have mother raised boys going on to the next generation, destroying the children, because these grandchildren started with a mother and a father. But the mother raised boy, who can only deal with his mother and no other woman, he abandons the home, or he throws his tantrum or whatever and leaves or whatever, or they get divorced or something, and then you leave the mother to raise the child. And because he's not getting his way, and that didn't start with the relationship that they're in now. They started with the one that before with his parents, because the mommy insisted that she's gonna raise her boy. She don't care about the father. It's called them sperm donors. You know, I don't let them get involved, and they try their best to keep those, especially boys, away from their fathers. And they punish the men. You know, like you have a relationship, it don't work out. There's nothing in the law or world that says because the relationship don't work out, that man shouldn't see the child, or he shouldn't have access to the child to impart some of the things that his father taught him and what he learned as a boy growing up. So you have a situation where these mothers raise boys, and a lot of them end up because what they do, and Caleb put it very well. He said they're soft. You know, they come and they're soft. They're video game boys. They don't play games. They're in the house. They don't go outside. If they go outside and fall and scratching, the mommy's all upset. She's all hurts and all kind of stuff. And those boys come up really soft and spoiled. So that is something else that we have to look at too, because if they're not the sins of the fathers goes on to the third and the fourth generation. Well, the sins of the mother too, they destroy subsequent generations. So then you will have now a child who is dysfunctional because of the mother. He going to marry somebody else and bring his dysfunction into a new relationship, and that relationship will break up. So you don't end up with a mother now raising another child by herself because of the dysfunctional father that grandmother created. These are issues that we have to deal with in this society.
Yes. Well, let me just, I hear you there, Mr. Lewis. Give me a moment. Dr. Anthony Cummins, if you're hearing, and you could send me a message at 236-7000, and or Cami or any of the men on here, if you know him and can give him the link to come in, and if he wants to come in, I want to hear about this march that he did. He did a walk from Hoyts Village to Hines Hill, University Hill, West Terrace, against some of these issues, and the media was invited and not one came. I want to invite you on the show, Dr. Anthony Cummins, if you're listening, or if you know him, any of the men on here who knows him and can help me to get a link to him, if Dave knows him, so that he can come on. I really, this is very genuine, guys. We need to, this is foundation. This is foundation. But go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, I heard the stats given, relative to the United States, but it will be rather interesting if we can identify with the demographics, because I taught in the United States, and the stats given reflects Americans. But when you teach in the schools in America, I think that the demographics play another significant role that should also be of interest. I found that the folks from Latin America, Guatemala, Mexico, those students were somewhat easy to teach and were very receptive in terms of learning. But it would be interesting to hear the stats from those individuals who were born in the United States. I also want to mention that the system here in Barbados, where we are looking to mobilize this whole idea of middle school and all the above, I think that that's a very unfortunate plan. I don't know where the wisdom prevailed, but the worst school you could ever think of is that of middle schools in the United States. That is a recipe for disaster. I've been there, I've done that, I've experienced it. When I think of what the structure we have now here in Barbados, when students reach 8th grade in middle school, those kids are totally out of whack. no focus. Everything is totally disorganized.
Yeah.
In our current school system, we find that third formers, who are equivalent to eighth grades in the United States, that those folks are within a knit society within the school.
Yeah.
They are looking at the first and second formers that are coming up, and they're controlled by the fourth, fifth, and sixth formers within the school system. So when you have prefects in fifth and sixth forms, you don't have no issues with the third formers, period. That's the worst group in terms of transition, in terms of the development, in terms of seeking for identity and all the above. And that group is an uncontrolled group in the United States. And we are thinking about bringing that system here. I think that, I smile when I realize, according to the gentleman there, that that is the direction that we want to go. When I look at what's happening in the school system now, to when I was there, how people are dressing, you can even step at the school gap with certain styles of uniform. With that hair, it had to be properly cut, trimmed, and all the above. You can't even be too long. So we had so much control in terms of how our students appeared. I don't know if it was because that we were under the monarchy, but now we are totally hybrid because it doesn't appear as though we know where we belong. But I still want to pose this question though to the panel, and I think it is of very significant importance. We live in a Christian society, and Ecclesiastes 12:1 speaks to this whole concept of remembering thy creator in the days of thy youth. I would want to hear the panel comment on that. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, Mr. Lewis. But I'm taking us somewhere. Okay, so we will end up there. Okay,
Beautiful.
so just hang on that, and we're going to end up there, Mr. But thank you for your comment, sir. Let me get to Mr. Holder. Mr. Holder. Edwin says, is this a hybrid that we're in? Are we bent on following the US? We're seeing how our dress in school or no, well, what's happening? We're wearing uniforms, but the hair, it just seems like a whole bunch of indiscipline, all kinds of things happening there. But when we look at some of the statistics that's happening in America, let's just go through a couple of them, Mr. Holder. It says 63% of children that are from single parents family experience teen suicide. Right? Somebody's mic. Let me see. I'm not sure whose it is. There's a noise on somebody's mic. 85% of those children have behavioral disorders. 70% of those teenagers that are from single parent families, right, where the mother, single mom families, 70% of those teenagers have higher higher teenage pregnancy rates and therefore higher abortion rates. They're 20 times more likely to be incarcerated and exhibit violent behavior. Do you have any statistics for Barbados, Mr. Holder? You can open your mic, please.
Yeah, Marcia, unfortunately, I requested some stats and I didn't get those stats in time. But I would try to do an article on those stats once I get them, as well as I'm trying to find out how many women were cited for contempt of access orders, as well as how many men were cited for contempt of maintenance also. Mm-hmm. If I might say something, recently the police had their annual conference, and a very lawless statement or accusation was made against the Barbados Police Service. And that statement was that the police service for the previous year did not take domestic abuse reports seriously from females. I found that statement to be very lawless. loaded, and it was unbecoming of the person who made that statement. And I'm saying it's sort of those rather gender neutral statements that is causing this gender divide, and also causing the whole issue of maintenance access to be so adversarial when you have persons who know better making such lawless statements. I just wanted to put that in there because there are too many politicians in this country making very gender sensitive statements that inflames and does not quell the whole gender war.
Oh, wow. Right. Interesting. I never saw it, never really saw it like that, but that's an interesting point that you made there. Mr. Franklin, I can see you want to jump on that. You're muted, sir.
Cammy said something that I had to speak to. He was concerned about the men being cited for breaching the orders for contempt and not women. How many? Now, the problem is that in the magistrate's court, you can't cite the women because the orders made in the magistrate's court are not binding on anybody except the monthly pay maintenance. And the magistrates are dishonest as to continue to do it, giving men false hopes. What the magistrate should have done over the years is to say, look, we don't have the power to do anything about this. So let me make a recommendation to the Judicial Council or whatever they do to get legislation through Parliament or whatever to get it done. Because as I said earlier, in the magistrate's court is concerned with maintenance. So when the mother says to you, I am not giving you this child because the magistrate tells you so, the magistrate can't enforce it. Now, however, if the magistrate says you got to pay $500 a week and you can't afford it and you don't pay, then you are in contempt of court. Then you go to jail for 42 days. And a lot of men prefer to go to jail for 40 days. But let me tell you something, man. When you go to jail for 42 days, the money is still owing. You're not going to jail and wiping out the debt. What you are doing is to go to jail for 42 days because you breached the court order. And why I believe something has to be done with it, because you have to determine if the man is capable of obeying the court order, because the man might not be working. And if a man is not working, it is not contempt of court, it is that he ain't got the wherewithal to pay. So the whole system dealing with men and their children is biased against the men toward the women, and nobody wants to do anything about it. And as a result, we're getting too many delinquents. As a result, we have too many cells and Dodge occupied because the system is flawed, and it's flawed from the birth of those children because the men are not treated fairly. Yeah. It's as simple as that. The law needs to change, and the magistrates need to be honest with themselves instead of trying to deceive men, because the magistrates deceive men when they say that they order the women to hand over the child. But if the woman don't hand over, what can you do? Because the order that the magistrate made is not lawful. Mm-hmm. You have to go to the High Court.
Wow. This is you know, I tell you tonight, as I said, it's not sensational, it's deep. And we need these family meetings and family get-together to really look and I'm hoping that we have more of these discussions. I know that a lot of churches that they put on these kinds of events, and I give kudos to the churches. I say keep doing them, and let's get into the communities and let's have these conversations with people. Mr. Holder, back to you just quickly. And then there's a video that we want to get to. Mr. Holder, someone said that they were not aware that there was a gender war. Can you explain when you say gender war, what do you mean, sir?
Marcia, I don't know where that person lives. I don't think they live in Barbados. If they have seen that women are, I'm all for women, for equal rights and justice, fairness, and equality. I don't know if that person have not realized how strong the women movement is in Barbados. Women are the minority, are the majority voters. Look at the senior positions in government. I have no problem with that also. When you look at the amount of money spent on healthcare versus healthcare on men is also skewed towards the women. There is more money spent on dealing with cancers in females and men. I wonder if that person is not aware of that. Look at the spend even on Mother's Day. There's a greater spend. When you look at what's happening in the court system, it's all about the women. The women are given a blight. You know, once I heard also casual that you cannot cite women for content because who's going to look after your children? Huh? You even have magistrates, not magistrates, lawyers who work for you, who will take the side of the female despite they're working for you, the male. I just don't know where that person is living, Marcia.
And so that's what you call the gender war that is happening. I mean, there was a time when women were home, they weren't working, they're not as educated as men, and so on. But now it's different, and and it is. I know a lot of women who see this as, well, whatever. It's our turn now. This is, they said this is the year of the woman.
Thank you, Marcia.
And
thank you very much.
Yeah, and they're pushing ahead. I have three boy children, and you see it. You see what happens, and you have to be pushing for those boys, and so on. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Franklin.
With those 3 boys, you gotta teach them to cook.
Yeah, they all know how to cook. Trust me, they're wonderful cooks. Go ahead.
That's another serious disadvantage with the boys, because that's something that those women who can cook hold over their heads, and that brings them into conformity. You behave when cooking. So we have to get a little levity, because I think it's a big thing. But teach your boys to cook.
Yeah, but somebody says this, and as a female, I want to respond to it. She says, or he says, YouTube user, thank you for the question. Whose fault is that, Mr. Holder? Women mobilize on their issues. I want to say to you, YouTube users, and to all of my women supporters out there, don't kill me, but let me say something. These are not women, it's not their issues and our issues. You understand? When we have children that we have to raise, we're talking here about the family unit. It's not us against them. The issues that my husband has in society, they're my issues too. The issues that Caswell have, they should be my issues too, because we are working as a unit, and that is the thing that we have to change. That kind of construct, that kind of thinking, that we're picking up this thinking, this American kind of we heard the statistics, and women are free now, and women just showing their bodies, and women are hold a minute, but we're destroying our society. And I know you all going to kill me, but I love you all, but it's the truth. We're destroying the society, but because we think that we are moving ahead. So this question, whose fault is that, Mr. Holder? Women mobilize on their issues? No, we mobilize on all issues, because we do it together. If you understand what I mean. I don't know if I'm getting you right, YouTube user, but I just want to clarify that, because that is the issue right there. That's the gender war there. We are moving ahead now, whatever. And we throw up all restraint and all of our clothes and everything, right? Because we're free now. But look, what's happening? Look at the children. Look at your boy children. Look at your girl children. Is that what you want? Is that the freedom? Is that the price of the freedom? But anyway, it's not. It's the men supposed to talk, but I had to push in that a while ago, right?
Somebody made a comment just now here, and I don't know if it's a question or not. They don't know punctuation. They asked married Caswell. So I'm hoping that it's a question, and they will say yes. Very much so. Next question.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's Dave, we have some forces. Okay, there's somebody's mic is okay. Paul, your mic is on. You wanted to say something?
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead.
Now, we may say that the mother or the woman is the best financial controller, but I just made a note here. A lot of times, the advertisers, their focus is on the woman, you know, the makeup, the nails, the clothes, the wigs, the eyelashes. Somebody is buying them. Somebody is buying them. So when it comes to looking after the children, how really are women able to maintain themselves with all this makeup, nails, wigs, and eyelashes? Actually, I'm asking the question as a man on the panel. How are they able to maintain all of that, and still being able to function as a mother, as a giver, whatever? And this is the man supporting his family on the outside, actually supporting his family, while some of the women are more involved in how they look. Tell me how the man is supposed to feel.
Interesting, very interesting. So those of women can, I'm going to shut up, and the women can respond to Mr. Messiah's question. Dave, there is a video that I want us to play at this time, and Easy T say it's good eye candy for the men. Oh Lord, Easy D, we love you. Some Kentley says somebody is buying them, but somebody is buying them, but who is paying for it? Interesting. Let me see if Dave is ready. I read some of these comments. Beverly Prescott is saying this program is so educating. Please share. Yeah. Somebody says here, some AP says some women pattern their lives off of desperate housewives and real wives of Atlanta, which is nothing like real life. That is so true. Yeah. I'm gonna read some of these comments. I think we have a very good audience. Jacqueline Allen said the men are paying for what the women want because the men's needs are catered for. All right, you see, it's it's an exchange going on there, Paul. They're saying the men's needs are being catered for. This is why I'm saying that the issues that we have to deal with it's something we need to do it together, because it's not one-sided, right? It's not there. It's not one-sided. Yeah. Wow.
No, something that he asked just now, but he mentioned just now, and I can tell you, women are the best financial controllers. I talk about women in households who have to raise children. I am not going to take that away from them. My mother raised 9 of us on the wages of 2 people who work on the plantation. My father drove a tractor. My mother was in the field. We didn't go hungry one night, except for the time I had to go to get x-rays, and they make me drink castor oil and don't eat. That's the only time I've been stay hungry in all the years I was with my parents. And my mother managed the finances of the household. So women do make this. So I'm not going to take that away from them. But sometimes we have now some women who are not like my mother, who take the money and buy the kind of fancy hair and stand on for the children. That is another problem. I was a member of a school board. And at the end of the year, we had people applying because they could not afford to pay for the school fees and the little fees you pay books and stuff. And the mother came to the school, and she looked like Whitey Lima. Everything had on a gold ring. She had about 4 gold chains, and she could not pay $75. I wanted to say to her, sell one of the rings, because everybody ain't like that. You see, so there's a mixture. Some women care for their children and do the best for them, Others are vindictive and they don't want the mentor because they're spiteful. They lost that man, some other woman carry away. And it is not just one thing. There are lots of things in society. It's just that all women are bad, or all women are good, or all in between. You got some of each. I find out that you're getting more and more women who do not care enough about their children to do the right thing by them. And that is what is happening. One time it was like mothers go out all the way for their children. You know, the old days, you know, as the father was a bit, but he was so-called watchless. The mothers will still, they still have access to their children. And if you misbehave, she will still call the father from wherever he is to put some lashes by you. No, they don't even want you to talk to your children.
Yeah. Thanks, Caswell. Let me just read some of these comments because I think the audience is very much involved in it because this is an issue that touches everybody. Alison Morris said both men and women need to go back to the Bible. God has laws that should be followed to have a properly functioning society. And we're going to come back to that, Alison. I'm going to leave that up because that's going to segue into what we're going to talk about for the next part of this. I planned Mr. Franklin to do some other issues, and so I have to get Mr. Lewis to come back on. But this I think that we're doing the right thing tonight. Just stay with this and complete it. It's Father's Day. Come on. Judy Jill says some of these are paying with the children or child money that give them with the that they're paying for the hair and the nails with the child money is what she's saying, right? Dr. Anthony Cummins, who cannot come on because he's on a call, he said, do you know that mothers go back to court to get increase in child maintenance in Barbados? Do you know mothers push their children to extend study to tertiary level past age 25 just to spite the father? He's saying that these are some of the Hurricane says, when you go out with a woman and next thing she's taking off her hair, that's the problem with these comments. I don't see them ahead of time and I don't know what I'm reading. So I need I need to Lord.
That's really a hurricane for you, man.
When you go out with a woman, and next thing she's taking off her hair, her face, her chest, and her buttons. It's a turn off. So enough, man. Don't be shy.
That means Eric and Rachel has gotten there too far. She shouldn't be talking about anything when you first got with them. You got there too fast.
Too fast. Oh Lord, let me read it carefully before I try and skim it. Some women in Barbados work for less money than their entertainment budgets. And every weekend, those women do find money to go partying. Mr. Caswell is saying the same thing. We're not focusing on the children as much. You see, this is part of the whole freedom thing that we're talking about. We need a balance. We're going to destroy society if we continue the way that we're going. And guess what? Everybody's all the older women too, talking about it's freedom. Nobody's there to pull in anybody, right? And bring balance. And you try to do it, oh Lord, they take off the wig and fight you. You see? So I'm telling you. Somebody says, let me just read a couple. Yeah. True. Mock everything. They don't want anything real. Oh Lord. Loyal daughter said, note, I had a female student who said she would have 7 children for 7 different men because equating to 7 different sets of money. Wow. She would have 7 children for 7 different men, equating to 7 different sets of money.
Marcia, that is an unfortunate reality. And sometimes it comes out of need and not worthlessness. Let's say you have a young lady. She sees this guy that fall in love. The guy the guy in love, he in love with one thing, and he gets that one thing, and it turns out to be a child. And then he gone because he gonna look for somebody that's pregnant.
Yeah.
And so she has now to go and look for a fella to support her and that child because this fella gone. And so then he gets her pregnant too. And next thing you know, she gotta look for a third to support those two. And the cycle goes on and on and on. What instead of looking for a fourth, you should look for a job.
Yeah.
But the problem is a lot of these girls play the ass in school, did not do the work, did not study, did not do anything that they can make a living from, and end up now in a situation where they have to like prostitute themselves, and it's basically that, But and they love their children, so they want to support them, they want to feed them, and they end up in the same situation again. Some fella come and say, "Oh, you get pregnant for them, you ain't got enough for me." I know you bring all this money because no, he's supporting 2 or 3 children of his. So he want one too. You see, and it's an endless cycle. It goes on and on and on until she runs out of eggs.
Yeah. Some women take men to court to get the money in their hands, even though the men are supporting the child or children. Someone is saying to Mr. Holder, Cami Holder, I get that much that you're not a lawyer, but you're doing something good. Please keep on helping the young fathers, and some of them need help when the women put them in court. Keep on helping. Yes, Mr. Holder, we ask you please, because it's not easy there. And Easy D, I gotta read. Okay. Somebody has
Marcia.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Messiah.
I think something just came to mind just now, and I think it's very important that we also say Happy Father's Day to the stepfathers, because to play the role of a stepfather is a very important role, having to look after children that are not yours, to be told at times you're not my father. So I'm saying also Happy Father's Day to those who are stepfathers.
Yes.
I have a different perspective. When you are
somebody,
when you are your father.
If you're on, you have to turn off whatever where you're listening to, because it's going to be an echo. Okay.
No, that's somebody else's echo, not mine. Stepfathers are fathers. You hear me? I am a stepfather too. I love my stepdaughter. I love her because the sperm that came to make her wasn't mine. She is one of my children. I love her dearly. So when you are a stepfather and you are a father, step out otherwise. Don't stop me from being anything. And I hate the situation where a family breaks up when they had a stepchild involved, and then the father leaves that child. No, that's my child now, You can't take that child from me now. But a lot of men don't see it like that, because it's in mind. They think that the child is only theirs when the mother is theirs. But no, if you can stay in the life of that child and continue, despite the breakdown of the relationship, that's one of the best things that can happen for that child. There's no way. If my wife and I had broken up and I would not want to break up with my daughter.
Yeah. So
Lovely girl.
That's a good point. Thank you, Mr. Messiah, for that. Let's play this clip, because the reason I want to play this. Oh boy, we removed the clip that was on. Somebody talked about us going back to the foundations, and from what is happening in society, gentlemen, and to those who are watching, it appears to me that Mother's Day is under attack and Father's Day is under attack. And this might seem like, it's not being melodramatic, it's not being, over the top. It's real. If we're looking at the trajectory of where this kind of counterculture is going at this moment, it appears that the Father's Day is not going to be anything much anymore, and Mother's Day anything much anymore. Not that those, that you can't celebrate other than a day, but you know what I mean, in commemorating fathers and celebrating fatherhood. Fatherhood. it's not going to be necessary. You know, and it's going out of style then.
Yeah, a lot of people might not like to hear this,
Yeah.
but I'm one of those people who don't believe in Mother's Day and Father's Day. I'll tell you why. I'm a father 365 days a year, and then when I go like year 366. I am a father every day. I do not want my children to call me on Father's Day and say Happy Father's Day, and I don't hear it for the rest of the year. A friend of mine, he lived in England. He told me one day he was in his garden and he saw a man come down with a bouquet of flowers, and he go to a house 2 doors down from him. And so he looked at him. It was Mother's Day, and he's looked at the guy and he watched him. And then the man came back into the road and he dropped the flowers in the road and walked off. So then later on he found out that the guy brought down a bouquet of flowers for his mother, and the person in the house had to inform him that they are not living there because the previous occupant died 3 months ago. He didn't even know his mother was dead. That's why I don't like Mother's Day and Father's Day so much. I want you to have Mother's Day is every day of your life. Father's Day should be
the concept here is that for a lot of people is that yes, they celebrate their mother the entire year, they celebrate their father. Some people don't, but some people do. But on this particular day, they shower them with more, respect and honor and love, etc. So some people don't, and some people
false premise. I shower my mother with love and care and respect every day of the year.
And that's for you, Mr. Franklin. There's some people
when they had COVID, and I couldn't see my mother, I used to be so distraught. I eventually took to going into the gap alongside the house and let me see she and talk with her, because talking on the phone was not good enough for me. I had to see her.
Yes.
You couldn't go. I used to visit my mother every day, and then all of a sudden, these people tell me I can't go and visit my mother. I can't go in the house and all kind of thing because my mother was in her 80, 89, and I used to go and stand in the gap and let you come to the window and we can talk for a little bit, because that was my mother.
Some people, Mr. Franklin, just to say, because there are people we have all kinds of people in society. There are people who do that, and then they do a special thing on their birthday, and then they do a special thing on Father's Day or Mother's Day, right? So let's just keep a nice little balance there, because everybody, people see things.
I want people to look out for their parents every day. I don't like the idea where some people only remember they got parents on days that somebody tell you to have parents. Just like people, you treat your wife good on Valentine's Day, and the other day she can't get nothing from you. Like I said, no, my wife is special. She sees, and if there's anything I can provide her things she needs, and I can provide it, she'll get it. Whether it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, New Year's, the 10th of June, whatever. But we have these concepts where people part things into particular days and treat people well those days. You want to treat them well every day.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Let's play the video here, Dave.
So here's what I did. And fathers, mothers, quick shout out to you before we get into all these stories. Rob, can you pull up this tweet? So, and I want to see how you're going to feel about this. If this upsets you, good, because it should. This is something I wrote a couple days ago. The madness with Pride Month has to stop. We have Father's Day one day. We have Mother's Day one day. Yet we have March, Bisexual Health Awareness Month, March 31st. International Transgender Day of Visibility, April 6th. Asexuality Day, first celebrated in 2021, April 26th.
So if you have no clue, April 6th is your day.
Yeah.
What happened, Tom?
I said, so if you have no clue, April 6th is your day.
So far.
International Lesbian Visibility Day. May 17th, International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. May 19th, a Gender Pride Day. May 22nd, Harvey Milk Day. May 24th, Pansexual and Panromantic Visibility Day. What the hell does that mean? June, Pride Month, entire month. July 6th, Omnisexual Visibility Day. July 11th through the 17th, specifically 1 week, Non-Binary Awareness Week. July 14th, International Non-Binary Day. July 16th, International Drag Day. August 14th, Gay Uncle Day. Verify this if you think it's a joke.
Gay uncle.
September 16th through the 22nd, Bisexual Awareness Week. September 23rd, Bisexual Visibility Day. October, LGBT History Month. October 11th, National Coming Out Day. October 20th, International Pronoun Day. October 24th, Asexual Awareness Week. November, Trans Awareness Month. November 6th, Transgender Parent Day. November 8th, Intersex Day of Remembrance. November 13th through the 19th, Trans Awareness Week. November 20th, Transgender Day of Remembrance. Are you tired yet? December 8th, Pansexual Pride Day. Folks, it's only June. We still have to go through these days for the rest of the year. 145, roughly, out of 365 days dedicated to LGBTQ. That's 39.7% of the year. Why? How did this make any sense? Meanwhile, we took God out from school. We took prayer out of school. We stopped saying the Pledge of Allegiance in school because that's offensive. Seriously, who's better for a healthy society? Promoting LGBTQ or marriage? Pro-family unit, husband and wives? If this is controversial, America has lost its mind. If the agenda is not to procreate, pushing LGBTQ agenda suppresses that. Gay men cannot procreate, folks. Lesbian couple cannot procreate. No one cares if you're gay, lesbian, trans, or bi. What you choose to do with your body after you're 18 is your choice, and we'll respect it. But this agenda must be accounted for why our national birth rate is the lowest it's ever been. America would be a powerhouse again if we flip the script, using 145 days to promote the pro-family and give LGBTQ a day out of the year. This is enough that would get us back to 2.5 birth rate and produce a better society. Feel free to tear apart this argument, but if you support it, have the courage to comment and retweet. God bless. May God bless us all. Anyways, and this thing went all over the place with commentary, agreeing, disagreeing. But you know what it was? 99% of people that read this, they were for it. 99% of people said, this is logical. How do you argue this? Okay. Tom, your thoughts on this? And by the way, we were at dinner. This took us 15, 20 minutes to write before we tweeted. And then you were there at dinner with me. I cut when we
you wrote it. We just proofread it.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, I think it shows exactly what the agenda is. What the agenda is, and it's rooted all the way down. Here I go. Here comes a rabbit hole. Get ready, guys. We're jumping in. We go all the way down to Marxism, breaking the American family, breaking the unity of the American spirit and the American society. And you just keep coming. That is their strategy here. Keep coming. So the reason all these additional days keep coming, and you saw how duplicative they were. International Pansexual Awareness Day, International Day of Week of Pansexual Visibility. I don't know what the difference between awareness and visibility are, but you see, they just keep coming, keep coming. This is the strategy, is to overwhelm the society with their agenda and where they want to take it. And this is how they're doing it.
Vinny.
And by the way, I thought it was a joke when you first started listing them, like honestly, especially when you showed it to us. But here's a misconception. When you say, when you put a tweet like that, Tom, and we know this, automatically the other side is like, oh, you have a phobia, you're scared, you're this. No. Especially with the pride parades, especially that happen in West Hollywood. What does you being butt naked? Okay, sometimes, your ass out twerking in front of kids, just out. What does that have to do with being proud of being gay? Gay people have been through so much to get to where, like, now in society, you're equal, you're chill, you can do whatever the hell anybody else can do. Why do you have to sexualize it in the streets? And like, what does that have to do with being gay? That's what I get so confused because I'm like, okay, you're gay. Congratulations.
Caitlyn Jenner, with transgender, retweeted, Gays Against Groomers said, we fully support this message.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
If Dave could get the section back, just to put up the list, Dave, of all of these. This is America, by the way. All right, this is America. The challenge is just a way how, if you see the way that the world is wanting to go, which is why I said to Mr. Lewis, we're going to get back to what he said about remember your creator in the days of your youth, right? And we getting back to that. Let me hear Mr. Holder. On what you just heard there, because you're fighting for fathers' rights and all these kind of things, but there is this counterculture that is really coming in on the family. And what are your thoughts on what you just heard a while ago?
Well, the impression I'm getting, and I felt this for a long time, that men are being emasculated one, and men are being seen as disposable. That is how I feel about that situation. And it's unless that men come together and understand that one tooth can't chew, you have to have teeth in order to chew. So men need to come together and fight against these things because there's no turning back as the way the world is going.
Wow. Mr. Lewis, is this what are your thoughts on this? I know you had a scripture that you were talking about, going back, remember your creator in the days of your youth and so on. What you're looking at the screen at all of these things here happening. What are your thoughts? I'm not sure if you're speaking, your mic is muted.
Yeah, it is still resonating with me, the question that Caleb asked. And Caleb said that he was shocked to hear that, here we are now with such a show that is biblically based, yet it is being rejected. And that concerns me because when we listen to him and we can identify with how well educated he is, I think maybe his parents or maybe him, he's still listening to the show. That is concerning, very concerning, because it really shakes his foundation.
Yeah.
That we would have instilled these values in him all over the course of time. And here I have the opportunity now to showcase my talents with something that I embrace, something that I could identify with as part as being the structure of society, the structure of my family. And yet the society is not giving it any recognition. So here we are in a society now where the Bible is saying to us, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. And that is a message to, I would like to assume, the Christian society, or all those who identify with the Bible. But I know predominantly we are a Christian society, and we've taken our E out, and we have leadership now that we can see mother and father, husband and wife, and they are at the forefront of our society today. What models do we have in our society that these same children that were on our program tonight, when they look at the leadership of our country and to see the type of atmosphere or policies or practices they are identifying with, and giving structure to in our society today. Prominent in our society, we have a whole lot of LGBTQ or the Great Alphabet movement. And it is something that is being festered in our society right in front of our faces. What are we doing about it? That still holds true to all of us. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. And a lot of those folks who we are seeing out there, all of those children, and I'm seeing children now, in the Gall Hill area and down St. Peter, those are young people, and never see a star pitch yet. But have they identified with their creator? To hear, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. And those are the values that we had as part of our society. But it is no longer now being ventilated within the school. There's no structure for it. But we have identified, I'm going to always go back to Daniel 12:1. There's coming a time of trouble such as never was. And what we are seeing now is only the tip of the iceberg. It's going to get worse. But what do we have to do as a people? We have to warn people in the direction that they're going and give them the opportunity to make better choices. But at the end of the day, I must say this, that people must appreciate that there are consequences to every decision that they make. So whether you choose to be a Christian or not, just remember that every decision you make, there are consequences, and you will live by them.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis, and very well said. And for those who might be watching that are of a different religion, for example, the Rastafari group, they are not for this kind of this kind of counterculture either. And so are the Muslims, so are the Hindus, and so most religious group or whether people of faith believe the same thing, actually. So just for those who are Christians, yes, and then those who are other faiths, to know that you join in the fight to preserve the family, that that is the foundation of this country. And Mr. Franklin, any thoughts on what you just saw there?
No, it sent me Googling because some of the terms I didn't have a clue. Like for instance, July 6th is Omnisexual Visibility Day. I didn't know that I mean them omnisexual visibility. I had to pull up Google, and Google tells me this is when you are attracted to all genders. So that means yeah, it means that mental illness there. So you have so many. They could have condensed all of those things into mental illness month, mental illness day, or whatever they call it, because it seems to be mental illness. I remember one of their quote saying a guy says, he says, there are two people said there were 56 different genders. And he said no, there are two genders and 54 mental conditions. I agree with him more and more, omnisexual visibility there. And it got a flag. Omnisexual got a flag too.
This is what I'm saying.
I'm Googling these things. I like to learn stuff, but I could have done without that.
Wow. Yeah.
Paul, it is sickening,
It is, and it's 105 days. I mean, this is not happening in Barbados. We're not trying to say it's happening in Barbados, but we can watch and see what our government is doing. We have the IDB. Remember the IDB tests? These were tests that were done in schools in America, and nobody can tell me that I'm making that up. That's how I recognized that test when I saw it, and what prompted me to go on the streets by myself. Because in my research, I realized that that test was done in schools in America. And this kind of thing we are taking everything in. So we are looking at this and laughing at this now, but with the way that this government is going, we don't know where we're going to end up. So we probably need to start Googling these things and understanding exactly what they are. We're talking about 100, Paul. It's 145 days out of 365 that is used to celebrate the type of sexuality that you choose. They might soon end up have a bestiality day. You never know. Or a minor attracted persons day. Yeah, we're laughing, but I mean, there was a time when we nothing like that. We only had Mother's Day and Father's Day. Look at what is happening now. And as Paul, as they're saying, as the program said, none of these behaviors will cause you to procreate. Right? You can't procreate with this. And we are the population, all throughout the world, population growth is down all over the world. Well, in most countries. I don't think I'm not sure if it is so in China. I'm trying to remember what that was. But
no, they're down because they're sending their people to the Caribbean and to Africa. So that's it.
Theirs is down as well. Yeah. So Paul, what are your thoughts on what you just heard?
International agencies that we trust. The UN. I am wondering if the disturbed alphabet people, if they are a nation. I ask myself this question: if the disturbed alphabet people are a nation. The reason why I ask that is because they have a flag, and the UN choose to fly their flag. The UN supposed to be United Nation. Is the alphabet people a nation? And I know we don't want to be political, but when we see our governments instituting laws and passing laws that go in line or actually that go against our morals, our God-given morals, should we not march against them? Should we not protest against them? This whole thing has me disturbed, to tell you the truth. It has me disturbed because I am trying to bring up my children in the fear of the Lord because I remember now my Creator. But when government wants to step in to tell me that I don't have a right to tell my child that they ought not to be this and ought not to be that, I am going to continue to remember my Creator in the days of my youth.
Yes. Thanks, Paul. Well, we've had a full night, and we're 5 minutes away. I would love for people to write in the chat. I mean, what did you know about first of all, did you know about all these days being celebrated in the US? 145 days given to the LGBTQI agenda. Did you all know that this is what is happening? And as we read some of the comments, I want our guests, want the panelists to think of something what you're going to share with the people. 1 minute, where we have each of you have a minute as we close. Yeah. Somebody says here, let me read first. Yes. They're trying to get it to not be a crime. Pedophilia to not be a crime. Actually, that's what is happening. And the moment you start to speak up about these things, what we're being told is that you're a hater, and all of these kinds of things is what people say. Just wanted to read a couple of the comments. Somebody said it's the first time that they heard about all these days. Yep, it's real though. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Somebody say if it's 10 o'clock already. Judith says, no, I did not know of all those recognized and celebrated days. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, let's just let's we have it's 9:57. We are closing. And so I just want to take this time to thank you all for joining, everybody who's joined. How many likes do we have now, Mr. Franklin?
324.
324 likes. Can we take that up to 400 likes before we leave? Can we go up to 400 likes? If you're watching on X, like it too, please. If you're watching on Telegram, I'm not sure if it's like or what you do on Telegram. But please share. We're going to make those audiences bigger on Telegram and on X. Bigger. Yes, and continue. Oh boy, somebody said the show ended too fast. Yeah, the time goes. But thank you all. We're going to be on again tomorrow. We have a march on Saturday. Roadside Parliament is on Sunday. March is Saturday. Roadside Parliament on Sunday. Roadside Parliament is at Hastings Rocks, and then we start at Mr. Franklin. What's the name of that street that we start at? I keep forgetting.
Redmond Drive.
Redmond Drive is where we start. Okay. So we have Saturday was excellent, and so everybody, thank you all for coming out on Saturday. It was a joy to see everybody. We have a strong, committed group. I tell you, they are so committed, and we want to just expand that. Come on out, guys. We have 2 more marches for the month of June. Make sure that you're there, okay? All right, so let's go with Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis, what do you want to leave with the people?
I had a question here, that I wanted to pose, and I'm still gonna left it. It's not gonna be an analysis of what we discussed tonight, but certainly, it still has me bothered all right now. Um, in our society today, we have women who have online sex boyfriends. Online sex boyfriends. That was a shocker to me. And I don't know to what extent individuals who have children and are identifying with that as a practice, because I look at the whole idea of, funds within the whole hands of, I wouldn't want to be disrespectful, but a woman. I know that the welfare is used as a tool for money. The more children, the more money from the welfare. But now we have online sexual boyfriends online. Not now that you go to Nassau Street or Baxter's Road, or up, up the hill, as the case may be, by the garrison. But there's online sexual boyfriends. I would want to hear a comment on that, maybe in another show or
Yeah,
otherwise.
another show.
Yeah, but that concerns me. But my key point: remember now, like we're in the days of the youth, we can't do any
Thank,
better.
yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, and a pleasure having you, Mr. Lewis. And Paul, can you? What do you want to leave with the people? A minute, please, everybody. A minute.
Start positive values and practices from birth. Take responsibility for your child's actions. Your child represents you. No double standards. Be firm, not affirmative with bad behavior. Teach them how to take care of a home. Explain the bills of the home. Observe their choice of friends. Give them a godly foundation. Get involved in their activities. Be a parent, not a friend. You can't teach what you don't know. Be honest and try to make amends. Working together is important. And this is something that a group of young people have taught me. They say teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you very much.
Yes, very well said. I love that little summary there. Mr. Cami Holder, I just want to first of all thank you for being on with us tonight and for the work that you are doing. We want to recognize that, we want to celebrate you, sir, for taking up this kind of work. What do you want to say to the people of Barbados before we go tonight?
Marcia, I would want to sort of send a direct word to the person who, within our security apparatus in Barbados, who had responsibility tonight to record this meeting. I want him to take back this notion or this notice to the government. The truth is stubbornly brazen and can be upsetting to those who seek to only promote untruths. The social cause of single-parent homes must be dealt with as a precursor or predictor of crime. Building more prisons, providing bigger guns, or even employing more policemen will not solve those issues. I have said repeatedly that we need to look at stop sending men to prison for child maintenance. Supporting kind was a suggestion I made, where if a father is unemployed or non-custodial parents unemployed, the support from the extended family sometimes can be more. That's one. Two, before any custodial parent walks to a court and just put a father or the non-custodial parent in court, there should be social inquiry report as well as a report to make sure that those funds go where it's best suited. And again, I just want that person to take back these notes for their security briefing tomorrow. So have a good night, Marcia. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Holder. And Caswell, 1 minute as we close.
I am not going to take a minute, Marcia. All I'm going to do is to ask the people to like and share, because I think this program is worth it. So right now we're at 370. So if I can, within the next minute or so, we can get another 100, I wouldn't mind. However, I want to address something that Paul was saying in his clause in there when he was talking about if this LGBT people thing is a nation and they got a flag and the UN is flying it. And I just want to ask you all, you see who want to be just Secretary General? I say no more.
Oh Lord. The leader of that nation flying that flag anyway. Oh boy. All right. So it was a good night. Yes, Square 4. It was a good night. So much was discussed here tonight about our moral thanks. Yes, it was a good night. It wasn't one of those, but it was, believe me, foundational stuff. And this is good. I'm glad that we were able to do it on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the daddies out there, the stepdaddies, and everybody, that we could have this day to celebrate fathers, and we can have this kind of discussion on today. I want to say thank you all for joining, and we had a great time, and I hope we all learned something tonight. Well, I can't go, Mr. Franklin. I'm sorry, without thanking Naomi Matthews and Nariah Matthews and Caleb King for joining us, and their parents for allowing them to be on. It was a joy. See you tomorrow when we get back into some hard-hitting stuff that we planned tonight and we didn't get to do it. Mr. Lewis, you have to bring you back. You have more to talk about. What's happening there in St. John? Give us an update on St. Joseph and Mr. Franklin, the workers' rights, and oh Lord, we have so much to talk about tomorrow evening. All right, so we're gonna see you again tomorrow evening. God bless you. We love you and trust you learned something tonight. Somebody said
382.
play the tunes. Play the tunes, Dave.
Promise us a better tomorrow. Tell me that it's suffering done. Me a take the vote and let me down. Me a take the vote and let me down. She did only want little dealing, big contracts and not corruption. Me a take the vote and let me down. Me a take the vote and let me down. Barbados is too small for me. My pocket full, now you and job they promise me. And a girl like me want power and more money. You cry transparency, but that's a no for me. Promise us a better tomorrow. Tell me that it's suffering done. Me a take the vote and let me down. Me a take the vote and let me down. She did only want little dealing, big contracts and not corruption. Me a take the vote and let me down. Me a take the vote and let me down.
That maths nor English, pretending to be good, pretending to be good, just pretending to be good, pretending to be good, I just pretending to care about people, 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 pretending, and I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English, I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. I'm pretending to be good. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people. And I'm pretending to be good at maths nor English. I just pretending to care about people.
All righty, guys. Bye-bye. Have a lovely, lovely week. We wish you all the very best and see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. God bless you. Bye-bye.
All right.